a point behind Southend, who are sitting in 8th. Now Oldham are in 5th with 70 points, plus 14 goal difference. Halifax just behind them, same number of points but plus 6. Gateshead 2 points ahead with plus 8. So if Southend win today, they will leapfrog into 7th place. They're also both on plus 8 goal difference, so any positive will put Southend also ahead on points difference. A draw and a loss would put Southend in 8th still, but it would rule out we're catching Oldham and Halifax. But whatever happens today, it does mean it will be a straight shootout in the North East on Bank Holiday Monday. For Wealdstone, though, if they win, they'll go out at 20 if they can't catch Braintree in terms of goal difference as the referee gets us started, but a draw and a loss keeps them in 21st. So as I say, Paul, they've got to throw the kitchen sink at it based on what's happened.
Yeah, and it just means you and Pennyfather ain't going to have a run up to Gateshead for a dead rubber.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to that one. As Wealdstone in possession, Southend going from left to right in their dark blue shirts with the gold stripes, dark blue shorts and white socks. Wealdstone in yellow shirts and shorts and blue socks, playing from right to left. No changes for Southend from the trip to Ebbsfleet. Hayes in goal, looking like a back three of Taylor, Goodliff and captain Ralph. Scott Morris on the right, Bridge on the left as the running wing backs. Hussein to sit in front of the defence. Coker to his left, Appiah Forson to his right, with Hopper and Kendall up top. It's been a while since we've seen the sort of 3-5-2 really, Paul. We've seen a bit of 4-3-3. We've seen them change things up, and I suppose they want to be aggressive against this team as Reed, the top scorer for Wealdstone, manages to get onto a loose ball on the left side of the penalty box, whips it in, but no one else getting close for them. Yeah, Paul, the change in formation for this one.
At least on that occasion, Jack Bridges tracked his opposite number back in there, and he was goal side of him, but Wealdstone just messing about with it and losing it as a long clearance from Harry Taylor.
Yeah, 2 changes for Wealdstone coming into this one, as Hopper keeps hold of the ball, gets it away from Grant into Coker, who's threaded into Jack Bridge, left side of the penalty box. Early attack is whipped across, but it comes off a Wealdstone body, and it will be a corner kick. And those fans in the North Stand and all around us up on their feet already cheering. They're going to get behind their team today.
Everybody goes on about formations and whatever, and I've said before, but particularly today, I don't care about formation. I care about determination and application, and you want to see the same application that they had at Ebbsfleet. First cross I saw on the telly for Blues against Ebbsfleet, there was 6 blue shirts in the box. That's what we've got to see.
Coker from this left side aims for the near post. Hopper near, he has to go down to the ground to get his head onto it, but just tries to loop it into the top corner, half a metre wide of the left. So it'll be a goal kick for Wealdstone.
I'm going to say, it didn't look a million miles away. He was, fighting to hold the defender off, and as you say, falling forward, but did well to get his head to it, just couldn't get it on target unfortunately, but not a million miles away.
So it's looking at the Wealdstone formation, we're seeing Baptiste in goal. It's almost like a back three with Woodman and Mariappa, the captain, and McAvoy in that back three. Got Correal on the left, few roars as Hopper has it taken off him, hugging that left wing. Might be a free kick actually, Paul.
Yeah, it is a free kick, yeah. Hopper denied him the space to turn out with it, and then as he got underneath him, he just pulled Hopper down. But Dante Astor Baptiste, that's become my favourite name for football.
It's a great name.
It's a great name, isn't it?
Elsewhere we see Kretschmann, Sona in the middle, Reed up top, Boulderwine on the right for Wealdstone. Meanwhile, it's a free kick to be put in from Coker, hugging that left wing, looped, aimed for that right post, and the head of Goodliff, but Dante Baptiste climbing for that one.
Yeah, it was a bit loopy, wasn't it? Invited him to come out into the crowd. He did well to come and get it, because there's a lot of keepers these days don't fancy that sort of thing and will stay anchored to their line, but he was nice and positive there. Playing out from the back. This will be interesting.
It's very short as Bridges chased this one all the way back to the goalkeeper Baptiste. He's had to change direction, and Mariappa's a bit exposed, but manages to get it away from Kendall and find Correal. Scott Morris making sure he has his back to the Southend goal. So much pressure. Appiah Forson chasing this one down, and eventually Baptiste goes for the high route, comes off the chest of Reed, but Hussein takes it off him for Southend, and Taylor tried to clear but took too long. Correal chasing it down, it's nudged into Reed, who's had a clatter with Taylor, but eventually Goodliff has to clear it away. It's heavy, it's all a bit of a mess as they're able to get it, but the Southend do get the foul. Scott Morris wanted to take the free quickly, but again, kitchen sink being thrown at it by Wealdstone. They have to be aware of that.
Well, just Harry Taylor being a bit careless there, giving possession away. Ball got played in behind them, and he's having a look across Gus Scott Morris and saying, "Hey, you can't leave me on my own like that." Now he's getting a word from the coaching staff. I think he's just saying, look, when Gus goes forward, which he's going to do, even though he's playing as a full, but he's going to get as far forward as he can. Harry's just got to keep switched on there, which he's done most of the season, to be fair.
Yeah, it's 37 games now for Harry Taylor in a row without missing a minute. This is well worked by Southend, coming to the left side of the penalty box. Coker goes back to Bridge, goes with a cross, and Hopper's head!
Offside.
It's cleared away, and it is an offside against him. And Hopper showing early signs that he's got his eyes on goal. 5 minutes into this one, no goals, but Hopper with 2 chances despite that one being offside.
Yeah, but wasn't it nice to see the ball popped out to Jack Bridge, and he's checked back on his right foot. 9 times out of 10 he'd then checked back onto his left foot, but he just stood that up. And yeah, alright, Hopper's got offside on that one, but he was 50-50 with the goalkeeper. And just because he's made that run and the ball was delivered for him, so I'm delighted to see that.
That's got the crowd clapping and cheering around us. The goal kicks run to Goodliff's head. Mariappa into Correal for Wealdstone. Jostling with it on the halfway line. Umpire forcing, tried to get it off him, but it's given the foul away. According to referee Stephen Parkinson, free kick for Wealdstone.
He just pulled his shirt. I don't know why. Lad had his back to him. Mariappa had his back to Fulson, and he's just pulled his shirt back.
Mariappa wearing that captain's armband.
It's a stupid one as well, because he's not going anywhere, and there was plenty of blue shirts around, closing down the space gradually to leave him no options. He's given him an out ball.
Another short set of passage of play from the set piece. Correal getting it back and deciding to drive forward and just to whip a ball towards the edge of the penalty area, but only to the boot of Southend's Hopper, who clears it, and now Kendall has taken it away from Callum Cisse. He's on the left side into Bridge, who's advanced, cuts it back, looking for Coker, but just not quite with the angle. It is cleared away, but as you say, Paul Clark, right idea for them.
Yeah, good idea, but the defender read it, to give him some credit. He read it, and Coker hadn't quite managed to make up the ground, but it was exactly the right thing for Jack Bridge to do. Just cut it back and hope there's a blue shirt running in on it, and it was very close, but credit to the defender.
So throw in from the left, Southend with the majority of the possession in his opening 7 minutes. Another cross from Bridge, looks for the header, but it's headed away. Goodliff with the volley, that had a deflection off of Mariappa. Well, Goodliff standing a good 20-25 yards out from goal. First time volley, the way it came off Mariappa, destined for the goal.
Hit the post doing that last week, didn't he? So delighted to see him having another go at it, and again struck it particularly well. Lad just blocked it from about nearly on the edge of the box, I guess.
Scott Morris with a throw in from the right in front of the travelling fans. The fine Hopper's head, it takes a bounce. It's headed away by Dion Woodman. Woodman has spent time with Southend on loan in last season. Made 4 appearances. Southend trying to put it together. Scott Morris, right side of the penalty area. Goes through the cross. Goodliff!
Goal.
1-0 Southend United. Well, Goodliff loves a sensational strike from outside the box, but it's a little deft header from the far post into the back of the net that's got Southend United the lead after 8 minutes. The Blues 1, Wealdstone 0 in a massive goal in a massive game.
Yeah, and again, it's we've spoken before. You look at Wealdstone, they've got it at the back, they get a free kick, they load everybody forward and then take it short, and then the lad's trying to put a cross in under pressure when he could have done it from a dead ball. Southend get up the other end. Scott Morris goes, well, I'll just take you on, get to the byline or towards the byline, stand across up, and there's a big centre half going, thanks very much, nodding that in. It's 3 chances Blues have had from that in this opening period, just from standing early crosses in.
And just listen to that atmosphere. The crowd are loving it. Evan Mayer was certainly loving it when he was celebrating. He's back prowling the technical area. I bet those players are loving it too. They lead 1-0 against Wealdstone, who has restarted.
We've said before, Kevin often gets criticised for being defensive. Think about that. It's open play. That's the centre half heading it in the 6-yard box, in the opposition 6-yard box.
Correal goes back to Mariappa for Wealdstone. Try to find Kretschmar, who's been given room to roam here for Wealdstone. Loops it into Reed, the top scorer. 20 goals this season, 17 in the National League, same as Scott Morris, who sends it down the field. And the goalkeeper, Dante Baptista, come a long way out of his area to make sure Hopper didn't get onto the end of it, and heads it away for a Southend throw-in. And they'll take their time.
He nearly got caught out as well where they've watered the pitch. That just skipped through just a little bit on him, and he was stretching for it a little bit at the end.
A little look at the table. We just saw it in live tables. Southend in the playoffs as we speak. The throw-in made its way a long way from that right wing. Baptiste able to claim it ahead of Kendall. It bounced a couple of times, but needed a defender to clear it away, but not a lot of hype on it. Pia Forson stopped them from advancing anywhere really outside of their final third. He's throwing the ball out here, Baptiste. I mean, some interesting decisions, Paul, in his opening 10 minutes.
Yeah, he threw it out and then Soha just turned with it, let it run past him. He didn't have a clue what was behind him. And there's a Pia Forson. Oh, thanks very much. I'll rattle you then.
Yeah, Harrison Sona on loan from Cheltenham. Has played in Essex already this season, was part of the Cheltenham Town team that travelled to Colchester, got a 2-1 win in the middle of October. But now being harried by Keenan and Pia Forson, who does win the ball off him and pushes it back to Scott Morris for Southend. He'll want to whip it down that right wing. Kendall and Woodman having a bit of an interaction, and Kendall winning the foul off of it inside Wealdstone's half. So free kick from this right side. Bit of a tussle, but clever stuff from the forward.
Yeah, he's as they're running towards,
perhaps is the word.
No, as they're running towards us, he's trying to run across Woodman, and Woodman's trying to hold him off, and they're both grabbing each other's shirts. But Woodman then, Kendall then just puts the brakes on, and obviously Woodman's still got hold of his shirt and drags it away from him. And the linesman spots that. He earns himself the free kick. But good work along the line from Charlie Kendall.
Ollie Coker with his free kick. Aims for that left post and ahead of Goodliffe, the scorer of that first goal. Beaten to it by Woodman. Ralph keeping it alive. And it's actually taken a little bounce off of Cisse. So it will be a second corner kick of these opening 12 minutes for Southend.
It's a decent ball stood up to the far post, and Goodliffe going up for the first header, and then it just bounced high. Nathan Ralph going up again, get a good spring on it, tried to head it back down, just hit the defender on the back, I think, and went out for this corner.
Adam Crowther just sitting in front of me, one of only two players not involved today for Southend, but showing his support in the stands. Coker, this in-swinger from the left side, aimed to the near post. The clearance is not far, so Bridge able to get onto it for Southend. Second chance for Coker to put this one in. Simon in for the far post, again ahead of Goodliffe, but Baptiste climbing ahead of him, wants to release it quickly into Reed, who's got a couple of yards on Harry Taylor. This is into the left corner, Pia Forson helping as well, but Taylor sniping well to keep Reed from challenging, and Keenan Pia Forson bundling in and gets a huge round of applause for his part and getting Southend in possession. Scott Morris is able to get away from Kretschmar, driving down this right. Kendall has some space, Woodman sticking to him like glue. It will come off Woodman though, and that will be a corner. Impressive forward work, Paul, considering the long ball down to the left corner and the composure to work it back towards an attacking opportunity in the third corner.
Yeah, but it was terrific work before that, wasn't it? At the other end, Harry Taylor in the first place taking Reed to the corner, then making the challenge, but then Pia Forson being diligent in his work as well, going back with Harry Taylor to say, right, well, you hold him up, I'll come and nick it off him, and then Blues were able to counter.
Pia Forson playing his part alongside Harry Taylor.
If you're Neil Gibson, you'll be disappointed in Kretschmar's attitude, by the way.
Yeah. Coker with a corner from the right this time. He's for the near post, the head of Scott Morris, but cleared away by McAvoy. Hussein decides to go all the way back to keeper Nick Hayes. I think this is his first touch of the ball in the opening 13 minutes. Looks for the head of Scott Morris, but beaten to it by Boldewine. Pia Forson doesn't get the better of Kretschmar this time. Foul conceded by Southend inside Wealdstone's half.
Keeps looking across at the bench, Kretschmar. I don't know, it looks like he's got the hump with somebody.
Yeah, Kretschmar, he was on the bench against Maidenhead. Yeah, midfielder. He's playing a very advanced role. So I'm just looking at the way that Wealdstone is out. It looks like three at the back with Grant sitting in front of them. You've got Boldewine and Correal operating as the wing backs. Kretschmar is up alongside Reed, and then that leaves Sona to operate in the middle as well.
Yeah, Woodman trying to hit a big diagonal into Southend's left back spot, and there's not a soul out there, so we're just able to let it just run out. But when they do play it short, they kind of look to me that they don't look 100% comfortable doing it. The manager's obviously told them that they're going to do it and they're going to play their way out, but they don't look like they really enjoy doing it. and embracing it, and they've given Southend a few chances to nick it off them already.
Yeah, Wealdstone certainly not enjoying too many of their travels. Only won 4 times on the road in 22 games. 39 goals conceded, only 25 scored. Goal kick from Hayes finds the head of Woodman of Wealdstone, and Boulderwine able to clear it looking for Reed. Obvious target man for them every time they're trying to put the ball on his head, but Taylor is wise to that at the moment. Throwing for Wealdstone in front of Kevin Mayer.
Even if they do hit him, he ain't going to get a lot of support, is he?
No. Alex Reed, last goals getting the brace in a 2-1 win over Forest Green Rovers on the 5th of April.
He'll be level with a penalty spot in a minute, hang on. That's it, referee's making him go back now.
Mariappa marauding down the left wing, but not legally according to referee. Does find the head of Reed, who tries to put it into the path of Kretschmar, but Southend's Goodliff getting in the way. Bit of a mix-up between Woodman and McAvoy, and Kendall is able to get the ball off them, away from Correal to bring Coker in, and all of a sudden Blues flooding forwards. Bridge on the left wing up against McAvoy, finds a pole into Coker. He's inside the penalty area. Cross aim for the far post, and the head of Hopper. He does keep it alive, can't get the accuracy on it. Scott Morris has won it back though. Southend still inside Wealdstone's final third. 15 minutes played, 1-0 to the Blues. Apaya Forson, he'll thread it to Scott Morris. He set up the cross, gives it back to Apaya Forson, accelerates into the penalty area, gone down right on the edge. Nothing given by the referee. He says that he slipped over on the way. I think that would have been harsh, to be honest, if that had been given.
Yeah, threw himself to the ground, trying to get across the lad, but threw himself to the ground.
Hayes launches this towards Kendall, but comes off of Woodman. Grant trying to thread through Coker as well to win it off Southend, but can only put it onto the toes of Cisse. Boulderwine trying to launch it forwards for Reed, but this time Goodliff is getting ahead of him. Has to put some of his body on the ball as it slips. Yeah, wobbles over the byline. Corner kick for
he stumbled,
Wilson.
Didn't he? It looked fairly easy for him to get out there. I mean, Reed's proven himself a willing runner up front. He's putting people under pressure, and there he put, to say Goodliff was favourite for it, but under a little bit of pressure, got his feet all tangled up and give away a needless corner, really.
Harrison Sona to take this free kick. It'll be from the right side and left footed, so it'll swing towards the goal by Wealdstone bodies inside the penalty area. That's 6.
Everybody back for Blues. Everybody, not a soul left up.
Everybody's pretty much inside the penalty area. Goes to the near post, but Scott Morris heading away with a booming header as that ball bounces into the west stand. Be a throw in for Wealdstone.
Drives him mad, doesn't it? How can he not get it past the first defender?
Crystal Palace leading in the FA Cup semi-final against Aston Villa by a 1-0. Abere Eza with that one. That going pretty much just before the half, just after the half-hour mark. Wilson trying to juggle with possession in a tight area. Surely. Kretschmar's been caught offside as the clearance comes in from Ralph. Kretschmar staying down. He wanted to claim a foul, but nothing given out of that one. The offside flags up from the assistant referee, so there'll be a restart from Southend.
Wasn't the brightest throwing from him, was it? Throw it to the man who's standing on the byline. He heads it back, then heads it back again. Guess who's going to be offside? Yeah,
you're only not offside. Ball only doesn't apply for that first ball from the throw. It doesn't continue to apply after that. Kretschmann, the man involved, Kretschmar involved for them. 3 seasons with Ebbsfleet. Ball falls to Ralph of Southend, who's able to fire it down the left wing on the turn, but Hopper not getting near that one, and it'll bubble up for another Wealdstone throw in, this time in their own half, in front of those fans in the west stand. Very few specks of blue I can see for those spare seats. A few spots of yellow in the Frank Walton stand. Lots of people travelling, about 400 or so from Wealdstone made that journey around the M25 as well. Bridge for Southend on the left. Ralph with the overlapping run. Grant whips it in, looks for the head of Hopper, but Woodman able to clear it away. Again, the crosses are starting to, I mean, Kevin Mary prides himself on the amount of crosses that Southend put in, but these ones have got a lot of venom on them today.
But it's numbers that are in the box, that's the important thing. I mean, the crosses probably ain't that much better than the ones they've been putting in all season, but if you've got 6 people in the box instead of 1, obviously you're going to get 6 times more better chance of getting on the end of it.
Nearly 20 minutes played at Roots Hall. Southend United 1, Wealdstone 0. Here on BBC Essex Sport on all frequencies and the BBC Sport website. Don't forget, we'll be reaction coming from Colchester United's 4-1 defeat at Salford City and Braintree's 1-0 defeat at Halifax Town. That's on BBC Sounds. Just search for BBC Essex Sport and be able to find it. Cross whipped in by Wealdstone from the right, unable to find Reid with that one. Second ball might come to him, although he did a bit of a skip to almost get away from the ball, and it's cleared away. Finds Southend's Kendall inside Southend's half. Couldn't nudge it to Scott Morris as Boulderwine got it away. And Mariappa though managed to win a free kick for Wealdstone inside the Blues half.
Yeah, and again that's the reverse of the first one, or the one earlier on. This time both of them pulling. It's Charlie Kendall that got pinged for it. So they're both at it. As long as the referee keeps pinging both sides, that's fair enough.
It'll be Harrison Sona to stand over this one. Plenty of bodies in yellow on the edge of the penalty area on that right side. Puts his hand up and looks to aim this one. Might find someone at the far side of the penalty area, but it's Noor Hussein of Southend who's able to clear it away and puts the pressure on Boulderwine to continue to get away, and Bridge winning it back. A few tumble of bodies, Boulderwine in there, and the foul is conceded, so Southend able to get clear away the pressure.
Yeah, it's nice to see. It was good defending from Noor Hussein in the first place, but it's good to see that everybody in a blue shirt, they're not just watching their teammate do the defending, they're doubling up on them. We've seen it from Pier Fulson a couple of times, and then on that left hand side that time Jack Bridge and Noor Hussein making sure that they're going in mob-handed and denying Wealdstone any space, because Wealdstone, you can see they want to knock it about and play, and Southend just got to deny them the space and say, well, you know, if you want to do that, you've got to be good enough to do it, and we don't think you are good enough if we put you under lots of pressure and deny you time and space.
Hopper bringing the ball down into the path of Coker for the Blues. We're inside Wilson's half. He's had to drift away from the penalty area, but gets a little triangle with Taylor and Scott Morris. Wants to whip another cross in, but too much height on it. We'll go over the byline. Goal kick. He was aiming for Kendall, who was more in the middle of the penalty area and needed to grow at least another 6 foot to get onto the end of that one.
Yeah, it was a hit and hope ball, that one. I mean, listen, we go on about crosses and whatever, and that's what he's tried to do, put it into an area, but he's playing it blind. He's got no idea if there's anybody in there at all, and he's facing away from where he's trying to put it. So Jack Bridge, for example, is looking at him going, well, he ain't coming out this way. Oh yes he is. And so Jack's not even involved at the back post.
Sloppy play from...
That's where Gus has just got to go, right, let's just play what I see for a minute, putting out an extra pass in.
Sloppy play from Wealdstone sees them with Southend possession with a throw-in on their left wing inside Wealdstone half. Still lead 1-0. Ralph to line up a long throw-in. Got the first goal in a comeback win for Southend back in April 2024, a 2-1 win at Grosvenor Road. It's quite a habit really for Southend. They really bucked the trend actually. It's our first time they've managed to score a first goal against Wealdstone in 2.5 years. They've had 4 games. They've had the last sort of 5 unbeaten. They've had to come back on 4 of those occasions. So this has bucked the trend when it comes to taking on Wealdstone in a very good way. So we approach the end of the first quarter of this game, and Scott Morris has room to roam into on the right for the men in blue. But decides to go back to Taylor and Goodliff. It's time to Hussein and Ralph. That gets some applause. It's all very intricate, and it does get the ball moving quickly, and it allows Coker to drive down this left wing.
I think the applause was the fact Goodliff gave him an awful ball, popped it up like 15 yards to him, but waist high, and great technique from Noor Hussein just to open his body and a side foot volley out to Nathan Ralph. It was real good technique from him because he was put under a little bit of trouble.
Seems to have really grown in confidence, Hussein, since he's come back into the starting lineup. Goodliff has managed to find Kendall with a siving ball as Wilson tries to break. Got Morris with room to turn, and he'll shoot from distance, but spinning away always, about 25 yards out. Goal kick for Wilson, still 1-0.
Yeah, he's another one I've got wrong, Noor Hussein. When he came to the club, I thought he started him much further forward, and he made good attacking runs and attacked the box, and then he sort of drifted away from that and got into that wide position, and he had a spell last season, I think it was, where he was filling in for Cav Miley doing the holding role and did it excellently, and then as soon as Cav came back he got pushed further forward again, and then obviously got James Morton, so him and Cav Miley have sort of rotated that holding position. But Noor Hussein has always looked really comfortable when he just sits in there in that position.
Certainly does. Knows about getting big moments against Wealdstone. Got the winning assist in Southend's last home win against Wealdstone back in 2023, 2 years ago. Looking sure he'll be keen to get on the scoreboard as well. Hasn't scored since the Aldershot win here when it was a lot colder, much more wrapped up in that midweek fixture. We are now. The glorious sunshine still blazing down on the pitch at Roots Hall. Ralph trying to find Hopper with a throw-in.
Didn't it go quick though?
Oh, ball comes off Coker. It'll be a throw-in for the visitors after 25 minutes here on BBC Essex Sport. This later kick-off. It's weird though, but it doesn't really feel like a late kick-off to me. It feels like it could be 3 o'clock right now.
No, let's stick with a 5:30 kick because we're hopeless at 3 o'clock.
It is an interesting fact. I need to delve into that a bit more. Southend's, once the season's over, Southend's success depending on kick-off time. Meanwhile, Wealdstone have given a foul away just over the halfway line, so Blues with a free kick. On that left wing, Nathan Ralph will to launch this one forward. Scott Morris tentatively holds his hands up with plenty of space around him on the right. Only man near him. As Wealdstone's ceased.
Now it's the ball to hit. Tom Hopper and Gus Scott Morris going in behind.
Hopper looks to win this one. I thought to apply Forson, but Wealdstone able to get a defender onto it first. Doesn't mean it's a throw-in for the Blues. Neil Gibson throwing this one back towards Gus Scott Morris. Yeah, fascinating to see what he's actually done. He came in after Matty Taylor left for Solihull Moors, who we saw a couple of weeks ago in that 1-0 defeat at Roots Hall. He's managed to pick up as many points in 18 games with Wealdstone as Wealdstone managed in the 28 games before.
See, that's funny, the referees give that free kick. For me, the challenge from Harry Taylor before that is dubious. He's got his arms around Reid, is it, the centre forward? He's got his arms around him, then he reaches round and sticks his foot up in the air, right in Reid's face, plays the ball but with his studs, but dangerously high. But the referee's prepared to let that go, and yet North Hussein comes sliding in, makes a challenge. That's a free kick.
Because that long one aimed towards the right, but Ralph able to clear it away for Southend. Says he thinks there should be a foul given for a challenge on Ralph, but play continues. Scott Morris giving Kendall something to run onto. Got Mariappa for company, who gets there first. The Wealdstone captain. His clearance though will come off Appiah Forson into the path of Hopper. And Blues in a dangerous position here. Coker gets it to the left with Ralph looking for the cross, but Kendall will have to track back to chase that one. But instant control right side of the penalty area. That's a toy it away. Forson crosses in, looking for Bridge, but punched away by Baptiste. Bridgemar has to go back. The offside flag's gone up anyway, so it'll be a restart. But Paul, you think there should have been a little bit more quality in the build-up to that one?
Well, it's the ball from Gus Scott Morris to Ollie Coker. Ollie's sat in that little hold in sort of number 10 position. He's got 10 or 15 yards of space in front of him, and Gus rolls it across to him, and Ollie's got to turn out and pick it up facing his own goal. Just got to take a little bit of care and say, well, just roll it in front of him. Now Ollie Coker's going on maybe one touch out his feet, 20 yards out. We know what Ollie Coker's capable of from there, but he's having to go backwards to get the ball.
Now Ollie Coker look for a bit more quality than that. Kendall managing to win it off of Woodman, gets it back from Appiah Forson. Kendall able to keep it in on that left wing. Brings in Bridge. Wealdstone giving the ball away so many times today. But that one is taken off of Bridges' boot by a Wealdstone defender, so it will be a throw-in. About 10 metres or so away from the corner flag on that left wing. Maybe 15. Bridge will take this one. And Goodliff puts himself in the penalty area.
He seems to have found his feet over recent weeks, Charlie Kendall, doesn't he?
He has.
He's working particularly hard along the line.
Bridge creating some space for himself from the left, but decides to cut into Coker. Almost found, but Kretschmar getting a boot onto it as the clearance comes off the back of Reid. Appiah Forson able to hook it forward into Coker, gets control, edge of the penalty area, it stays alive. Bridge going for the shot himself, and an acrobatic save from Baptiste ensures he's able to push it over the byline to his left. Everybody had stopped as they all looked towards the referee except for Jack Bridge, who decided to take the shot on.
Yeah, he tried to curl it in top right hand corner as he looks at it. Didn't quite get enough height on it, and they still had Baptiste scrambling for it across there to turn it out for this corner.
Fourth corner kick of this first half hour. Coker to take it in front of their travelling Wealdstone fans, who certainly not as animated as the majority Blues fans around us. And they're getting a Icelandic clap going. Well, I haven't heard that for a while. Here on BBC Essex Sports, we approach the half hour. Blues leading Wealdstone 1-0. Over pauses, the referee has a word with a couple of the players, making the 6-yard box a bit claustrophobic, but we'll get ready to take this set piece now. Coker from the right side with a right foot, swing away from the goal and towards the near post, and ahead of Scott Morris, but McAvoy clearing away. Hussein first to it, so there'll be danger straight away if Coker can get this one right. Tries to give it back to Hussein in the middle, encouraged to shoot, cuts inside, wants to thread it to Scott Morris, but cleared away. Pyer Forson first one on it for Southend though. Well, he makes a mess of the pass back to Taylor. Unfortunately, he was reading it and gets there ahead of Reed. He gets the applause. A couple of little mishaps from Blues players, but still getting forward. It's launched forward, but it'll fall to Scott Morris from the header from Woodman. Has Hopper on his right. He'll get onto a loose ball and he'll shoot. Punched away by Baptiste and cleared away by Grant. Hopper very, very close there to his first home goal since the win against Halifax in February.
That and half a poor header from Woodman. The centre half, and he headed it down 5 yards in front of him, straight to the opposition. Got to head it wide. Just get it out of the danger zone. But yeah, Tom Hopper good enough to pick it up. And, at least he tested Baptiste.
Woodman making his 13th appearance, the former Southend loanee, former QPR Academy man, alongside Joe Gubbins. Charlie Kendall, of course, spending a bit of time there as well. Scott Morris and Hussein exchange from the throw-in midway through Wealdstone's half. Tries to thread it into a Pyer Forson. It's taken off him by Grant. Gets a 1-2 with Kretschmann. Tries to keep moving, but he was on the turn and momentum took him another way from the ball, and Southend's Taylor able to get his head up. We'll look for Hopper to chase this. Can't quite keep it in as he tried to balance it along the right wing. There'll be a throw-in for the visitors.
I mean, it was good. A couple of times he's made some good interceptions in this right back spot, Harry Taylor, as he's done all season. It's just unfortunate his passing couldn't match the quality.
Yeah, Harry Taylor, not the best record for him against Wealdstone. Had a draw and 3 losses against Wealdstone back in his Barnet days. Only had draws during his time, a couple of wins during his time with Southend. Hasn't scored since he arrived here. His last goal in a professional game back in May 2021. Offside goes up against Charlie Kendall as again they try to play a high ball over the top, aiming for the 2 forwards. So it'll be Wealdstone to restart. That's a third offside for Southend in this first half.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be getting caught there. You call that lazy, because the ball's going back to the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper's going to kick it long, so everybody knows what's going to happen. You just got to get yourself yard onside, then as the keeper's head goes down, then go and make the run. But just ambling back in an offside position ain't good enough, really.
Mariappa for Wealdstone into Corrale, who switched back to the left wing, him and Boulderwine.
They don't want a lot of time on the ball, do they? Dear me. No wonder they're getting close down.
Yeah, not much pace on it at all from Woodman. He's in the middle of that back three. He's got McAvoy to his right and Mariappa to his left. Sona and Grant sitting just in front. It means that Cisse is on that right as well. We go back to Baptiste again.
You know, a couple of months ago, Mickey Stead had a charity game for a benefit game for Mickey's injuries, and had a load of ex-Blues players, and they knocked it about like this, and about this pace as well.
It is very exhibition. You always feel like this wasn't a team that had dropped down into the relegation zone, and 1 point above them, Dagenham and Redbridge, who had that 6-1 win over Altrincham, putting themselves in a very strong position. And again, they go backwards. I mean, it's a lot what we saw Southend do against Braintree on Good Friday as well. Baptiste coming out of his area into Mariappa, hugging the left wing, trying to get away from Hopper. He's managed to thread it past him into Corrale. Bit of space opening up for Cisse, but can't get onto it, and Goodliff means that get a touch onto it for Southend to get back in possession. Scott Morris gets his looping pass wrong though into a Pyer Force, and so throw in for the Stones. Pretty much on the halfway line on the left, Mariappa to take.
Yeah, but it's important that Blues keep the work rate and keep the tempo up, because as I say, if you stand off, they can obviously play like this, Wealdstone, if it's played at a slow pace. And if Blues start standing off people and taking shortcuts because they're winning, then it's going to cause a problem.
The sliding tackle from Scott Morris to stop a cross from Mustafa Correal going in. And the second corner kick of the game for Wealdstone, this time from the left. Max Kretschmar to launch this one in.
Yeah, it's important that Blues players don't go, well, we're 1-0 up and these ain't very good, so we can just have a little stroll, because they're good enough to punish you if you're not at it. Blues started off at it, and it's just gone a little bit flat at the moment.
Kretschmar standing over. It's a right-footed. You want to hit from this left side, so it's swing towards the goal. Aim towards that far post. And from Woodman, that might fall. It's a volley. That one came from Sona, pretty much on the penalty spot, but he rushed at it, put his laces on it, and spun away over the crossbar. No threat on goal. Still Southend 1, Wealdstone 0.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want it picking out there too many times, would you? Because again, it's that age-old problem for Blues. It's that second ball in around the box, and thankfully Wealdstone weren't good enough to punish him, as you say. So got underneath it and smashed it over the top of the bar. But yeah, you don't want to just wander off and let people pick it up around the edge of the box and get a shot at your goalkeeper.
Sona wearing bright red boots, trying to give his teammates some encouragement, but Southend will hope that they don't respond to that as Taylor tries to bring it down. Sona with the header, but Scott Morris sides with an overhead pass into the header. Coker puts it forward for Southend. He'll get it back from Mariappa's clearance. He gives it to Ralph, who's on his left. Bridge in front of him. More advanced now, more pressure coming back in Southend's play. Less than 10 minutes of this first half to play, leading 1-0. Ralph gets it back, has Coker inside him, and Hussein. Scott Morris has plenty of space in the middle of the pitch, but Coker wants to advance. Only 2 players in the penalty area to aim at. They have to go back to Hussein, and they'll look to stretch this one from left to right. Goodliff in his head up, assessing his options. Saw Ralph making an overlapping run, chest into the path of Bridge. They have to do well to keep it in possession under the pressure of Baldwin and Cisse. Headed into Coker. Again with the pressure of Grant, has to go back to Goodliff. It's patient stuff.
No, that's it.
Hearing the words of Paul Clark next to me, he said Goodliff was looking to go right, but then decided to go back left.
Well, he was trying to get out his feet, hit $1 million ball out to Gus Scott Morris when he's got Noor Hussein 10 yards away from him and Nathan Ralph out there. Just keep it, just keep recycling it.
Coker twisting and turning away from Grant. Now Ralph and Hussein exchanging. They go back to Goodliff again, and Wealdstone can be in shape, but Southend, we know, can turn the pace of the ball on a sixpence if they want to. Goodliff is now about 10 metres away from the penalty area, gives it back to Hayes to launch forward. There's a good 5 or so to aim at, one on the head of Hopper, who will get onto it and put it forward, but only finds Wealdstone's Mariappa. Sona tried to put it forward, but Hussein gives it to Scott Morris for Southend. Apaya Forson onto a loose ball. Taylor on this right wing into Hussein inside him. Now Ralph as it's spread from right to left with a sweeping ball. And Coker with space to turn. He gets some encouragement from the home fans here at Roots Hall. Has managed to thread it into Hopper, who's drifted outside the penalty area to the left side. Bridge trying to keep it alive, but McAvoy sends it back downfield for Wealdstone. And Southend going for the picking the lock approach. Trying to put in the high ball in, putting it onto the head of Hopper. Had a bit of joy with that, but just want to create a bit of space for themselves, get those dangerous crosses in, get those bodies in.
Yeah, well, at the moment, Wealdstone don't want to come out and play. And so Southend, being 1 up, they don't need to force it. They can just keep playing it around this middle third and wait for the opportunity to go behind. If they ever draw Wealdstone out, then they know they've got the runners going in behind. They did particularly well early on because they went behind early when Wealdstone were trying to squeeze up a little bit, and they punished them for it. So Wealdstone thought, well, we ain't going to do that anymore because we concede goals and we concede space behind us.
Scott Morris on possession.
Oh, that's your own fault. Too long on it.
He wanted to feed Kendall in down the right, but had to turn back under the pressure of Correal, and he's ended up putting it over the line. It'll be a throw in for Wealdstone. Mariappa to take.
Yeah, he's berating at everybody in front of him, saying, someone give me an angle. And he's got a bit of an argument, but he's got to get out of his feet and move it quicker.
Taylor wins the header from the throw in. Good possession back to the home side. By Forson, though, can't get them moving forwards. Reed had to come all the way out to the left wing, gets a little nudge in the back from Scott Morris, and that gives a foul away. And Scott Morris has got to be careful. We know he likes to have a debate with the referee.
That's frustration. He tried to buy a free kick just before that from the throw in. He's backed into the lad. Kevin's having a row with the fourth official now. That didn't get that free kick, and because of that he got the ump and then went back and just pushed the lad in the back, and it was a definite foul.
Yeah, normally lively games involving Southend and Stephen Parkinson. 5 games before today, 8 yellow cards, 1 red, 3 penalties. 2 though for Southend. So normally it does go their way. Sona with this free kick for Wealdstone, hugging the left wing. High save for the near post, but again doesn't beat that first man, Paul Clark. Scott Morris's clearing header will find Baldwin under pressure from his opposite number, Bridge.
Got Harry Taylor down, is it holding his... No, it's not Harry, I think it's got Scott Morris.
Yeah, Scott Morris holding his head. And Parkinson will go back to see him. Holding the back of his head and onto his back now, and Ron Gowans will make his way onto the pitch. Remind, of course, of the positions right now. Southend inside the playoff places as they've overtaken Gateshead, and they have +9 goal difference right now. Meanwhile, Wealdstone sitting in 21st, that last relegation spot. They'll be on -20 of 50 points. They're 1 behind Dagenham and Redbridge, 3 behind Braintree at the moment. It's set up quite the day going into the final day of the season on Bank Holiday Monday. Braintree Town hosting Rochdale. Southend travelling to Gateshead. Scott Morris, looks like the magic sponge has worked, and he'll be back on his feet.
You know, my one fear if it stayed like this is going to Gateshead and you're thinking, just don't get beat. As long as we don't get beat, we're fine. And I think there lies an awful lot of danger.
Do you think they do that? Because whenever you listen to Kevin or the player, I mean, you could listen to them on BBC Sounds. I feel like that would never enter the dictionary of Kevin Mayer.
No, I don't think Kevin would think about it for a moment. But human nature says that there might be some players that go, well, I don't want to just try that.
Drop ball restart from the clearance. Southend currently playing with 10 men as
top corner.
As it was a shot from Correal. He was on the left side of the penalty area. He had to cut it down towards the bottom left corner, just on the outside of it. Rustled the net on the outside. But no, again, no shot on target for Wealdstone.
Yeah,
Still
so,
1-0.
Yeah, I was just saying, sometimes human nature means that, players go out and they go, well, we won't take the more dangerous option. Might play a little bit safe, and you could end up playing into the opposition's hands then. I'm sure Kevin will just go, look, just go and win it. Go and win it. Go and earn your place in the playoffs.
Well, Scott Morris waits his way onto the pitch. We had a new addition in the press box. David Crown join us. Welcome along.
In a dodgy chair.
He's joined us in the back row. Throwing will go to Wealdstone. Mariappa to take all from a long goal kick, but no one could get a distinctive touch on it. So it makes his way out. And Mariappa to launch that long throw in. Will only find the boot of Taylor. You'll find Kendall always prowling on that inside the final third. He wanted to give it back, but straight into Kretschmar, who all of a sudden has Scott Morris all over him. Well, Kevin Mayer holding his hands up. He thinks that Kendall was fouled as he was giving it away, but either way, Southend have got possession back.
He wasn't fouled. He jumped out of it, trying to buy the free kick. Have a look at him now. Look,
back on his feet, sprightly as ever.
Yeah.
2.5 minutes of normal time in this first half. Southend 1, Wealdstone 0 here on BBC Essex Sport with me, Warren Muggleton, and former Blues player and manager Paul Clark. Scott Morris, first time pass down the right, looks for Kendall, but Mariappa to clear it away. Only finds the head of the top scorer for Southend. Kendall turns it into the middle of the pitch, but has it taken off him by Wilson. Sona. Baldwin aims towards a long ball towards the right corner, but Ralph volleying it away over that left byline. It'll be a throw in for Wealdstone in front of that west stand. Don't forget Victoria just 2 seats to my right. We're waiting to hear from you at half time. 81333 on text, 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Start your messages with the word Essex. Love to hear from you. Whether you're Colchester fans on the way back from Salford City, or Braintree fans making that journey from Halifax. There's about 63 of them, I think, made the journey up to the Shaman. Some of them dressed as minions for one reason or another. Or if you're a Blues fan here at Roots Hall or listening from afar, I want to give your thoughts on what you've seen this opening half. Ralph and Baldwin all had a little bit of a nervy one as they both tried to go for the ball, but it went over their heads anyway, and Bridges trying to drive away for Southend. Now has Boulderwine for company and has to check back. Coker's on the left side of the penalty box, but it just beyond him, and McAvoy able to send it forward for Wealdstone, who wants to counter-attack now. Big marauding run coming from Grant. Has Correal on his left, up against Scott Morris. Getting closer to the byline, nudges it forward, wants to get the cross in, but again it takes a touch of Scott Morris to take the sting.
Dear me.
Wow, Crenchmel was chasing that ball as it bounced on the ground as well, tried to get ahead of Scott Morris. So reason Paul was saying nerves there, might be a penalty call, but nothing for Parkinson to assess, he says. And now Hopper's gone down, foul by Grant of Wealdstone, free kick for Southend. Do you think it was a nervy moment?
Well, yeah, but he's gone into the box, and the defenders just sticks a foot out and trips him up as he's going in. I've seen them given. I'm not saying it's right, but I've seen them given. And look, a few of the players are asking questions, and I know their manager on the touchline for a moment was wondering whether we're going to get something. They've lost a bit of discipline, Blues, you know, with their shape when they're chasing down. I mean, I watched the Power Forson there. He's like inside right, then he's gone chasing all the way out to the left wing as we get 2 extra minutes. Then he's chasing the centre half, and there's big areas all around. When they were doing it earlier in the game, they had a nice solid shape about them, and they was all pushing down in together and working in pairs. It's just got a bit scrappy, whole thing.
2 minutes of extra time to be played in this first half. Scott Morris able to whip a ball in from the right. As it falls to Baptiste, he's judged that he's been caught by Correal. The Wealdstone fans in front of him furious with the assistant, but we've been pulled back, and it looks like it will be a free kick for Southend, pretty much in the right corner. Scott Morris again on the ground, but he'll get up. A few fans starting to make their way in for half-time. A few debates between fans in this east stand to my right and the Wealdstone fans who have travelled. A few of them getting right up close to the pitch, and Scott Morris having a look at them, and he knows how to rile off opposition fans, to say the least. A man with 17 goals for the Blues this season, all of them in the National League. Joint 5th top scorer, joint 16th across the top 5 leagues. One away from matching Harry Cardwell last season. Coker with his free kick. And it's for Kendall's head, gets a touch on it. It's drifted away to that left of goal. A little bit more on it, maybe a little run up to it. Might have been able to fire it into the top right corner, but it loops away to the left, and it's still 1-0 to Southend.
Yeah, and he will be disappointed he didn't get that on target, because he made a good run, got picked out, first man onto it, and as I say, didn't get it on target, unfortunately.
Baptiste launch it forward with those fans packed into the north stand behind him. Oh, a misplace from Woodman. I wonder if he'll be coming out for the second half based on what he's been doing today. Almost gave possession back to Southend, but that's what Correal's managed to do as he tried to throw it down the left into Scott Morris, and now Coker was faced on the edge of the centre circle inside Wealdstone's half. Gets it to the left again where Bridge, now against Boulderwine, gets it past him towards the byline, wants to cut back inside, nudges it round, whips it in, tries to find Hopper, but pushed off it by McAvoy. And that is the last action of this first half, which has seen Southend United take the moment that has come their way after 8 minutes. Ben Goodliff, his second goal on his loan spell from Colchester United, getting onto the end of a Scott Morris cross to head the ball into an empty net. And Southend sitting pretty in the playoff spots as we speak, with that 1-0 lead over Wealdstone at half-time. And Paul, they made a really bright start, didn't they? It's dropped off a little bit as the first half has developed, but just the start that Southend fans wanted to see.
Yeah, a terrific start, and against what looks a poor side, and you can see what Wealdstone are trying to do, but I don't think they're good enough to do it. And Southend, having gotten themselves in front, it almost looked then as if it was it's just a little bit too easy, and it all got a little bit casual and disjointed. It wasn't good, but it was good enough, and that's all that matters at the moment. I'm sure Kevin will have words and say, look, just get back to closing down, a little bit more pace about you. They've got enough about them that if you're just sloppy in your work, they've got enough to punish you and hurt you. So just don't be sloppy with it. Mind your work. Just get back to what you're doing, hunting down in pairs. You haven't got to be going hell for leather for 45 minutes. Pick your times. When they've got it at the back, you can let them play it about back there for a little while, because they're not going to hurt you back there. But then when you do decide to go, let's make sure we go as a unit, not just as individuals, like we've had a Power Forson chasing. I mean, you just call them doggies, 20 yards here, 20 yards back, 20 yards here, 20 yards back. He's been doing it all over the park, not getting near anybody. I mean, he has on occasions, obviously, but a lot of times it's just you keep chasing the air and everyone's just watching him do it. Doesn't achieve anything.
Certainly not. Paul, thank you very much. We'll be back for the second half. Victoria, waiting to hear from you. 81333 on text, 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Start those messages with Essex. Well, Southend at the moment, they knew they could get themselves into the playoffs if they get the win today, following a favour from Boston as they beat Gateshead 2-1. All eyes on Southend at the moment, and right now they're relishing in the sunshine of Southend on this late afternoon kick-off. Half-time at Roots Hall. Southend United 1, Wealdstone 0.
BBC Essex.
Get ready for the Malden Mud Race. Every year, hundreds of fundraising competitors attempt to race across the River Blackwater's thick mud, and for 2025, the participants include BBC Essex presenters Akila Rodriguez.
It's gonna get everywhere.
And Jodie Halford.
I'm really worried I'm gonna get stuck and someone's gonna have to rescue me.
BBC Essex will be live from Promenade Park throughout the morning, with live music and entertainment ahead of the race at 1.
The Malden Mud Race.
Sunday, the 4th of May, from 10 a.m.
It's no different to a spa. Come on.
BBC Essex. BBC Essex Sport.
6:20, Victoria Polly with you on BBC Essex Sport. At the break, Southend United lead by 1-0. Ben Goodliffe's header, the difference between the two sides. And as things stand, Blues sit inside the National League playoff places. We'll have second half commentary on the way for you. 81333 on the text if you want to get in touch on the first half. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Start your message with the word Essex. You might want to react to our earlier results. Colchester United beaten 4-1 at Salford City in League 2, and Braintree Town in the National League beaten 1-0 at FC Halifax. I know we were on loudspeaker on the bus home from Halifax for the Braintree Town fans, so do let me know if you want to get in touch with your thoughts, and safe travels back to those of you who made the journey as well. Scores elsewhere in the FA Cup semi-final, just into the second half. Crystal Palace still lead Aston Villa by 1-0 at Wembley. Eza with the only goal of that one. Late kick-off in League 1 has Wrexham 2-0 up at half-time over Charlton. So as things stand, Wrexham would be on course for their third promotion in 3 years there. Let's get some more reaction to our 3 o'clock games then. Colchester United's League 2 playoff hopes dealt a big blow with a 4-1 defeat at Salford City, and results elsewhere as well, meaning the U's sitting 10th this evening. Let's get the reaction of the U's head coach Danny Cowley. He has been speaking to BBC Essex's Neil Kelly.
Danny, a defeat, a big one, and a defeat that clearly will hurt your playoff hopes.
Yeah, it's the hope that kills you, isn't it? And I think we've given everyone a lot of hope, and I think we're going to be pretty regretful really today. Horrible emotion, regret, but I think we will all leave this stadium this evening with exactly that feeling.
The damage done in the opening quarter, 3 goals conceded.
Yeah, the quickest, I think, in nearly 1,000 games of football. One of my teams that ever conceded a goal. 8 seconds, the penalty, and it's not like we didn't know what was coming. They do the same pretty regularly. Go back to the goalkeeper, kick it long to Hadji and Haji Minoga, and he comes off the line and tries to flick it in behind. But no, we didn't have any contact and we didn't deal with it. And yeah, first half we didn't make a tackle. For the first 20 minutes we didn't make a tackle, we didn't make a pass. It's the truth. So an unrecognisable side, because I've seen enough of your sides to know how competitive they are, and just not really present in that stage of the game. No, we've lost a lot of good men. It's the truth. And it's not just that, it's the men that are not here, but it's also the men that are playing that are not fit, and we knew what the game was. We had to take some gambles, but it was it was hard for some of the boys that are just coming back from fitness to come into a game of this magnitude, of this intensity. You need to be in full flow, and being honest, we had too many that weren't in that condition, and obviously a lot of good players that are not even here. And teams are always about balance, it's always about, it's not having the best players, it's about having the right ingredients that complement each other. And we didn't have that today, and we played against a team that were very, very athletic, that wanted to go in behind us, that wanted to run the space. And with what we had available, it wasn't a good match-up for us, because they defend man to man, and we needed to have opposite movements to drag them out of the space and then exploit them in the space. But we didn't quite. Probably just had the players that allow us to do that. You have people like Lyle who could be so clever, enticing the back line out. You have people like Awar who are so good at taking the space in behind. And of course, your Jamie McDonnell, who I think whenever we've not had him away from home against the better teams in the division, we've missed him. We've missed him a lot.
I know you're better than this. I know you won't want to make the game about referees anyway, but he has given the opposition 2 penalties. The second one, from where I was, looked soft, and I still don't know why Oscar Thorne's goal was ruled out. I didn't see a foul.
No, he's been a nightmare for me. I've had him so many times.
You've had him before.
I've had him so many times.
He ain't done you any favours today.
I could have cried when I saw that he was given the game, but I mean, the goal in the first half, Oscar's goal, he says it's a two-handed push in the back by Sampson. It's basically 100% not. And then even Kyrese goes through one-on-one and he's offside. He's never offside. So they were two moments for us. But
so you're not complaining about either penalty then?
Well, I didn't see. I didn't think. The penalties. He always has a huge impact on the game, but it's really weak to moan about referees when we haven't played anywhere near to the capabilities that we want to play. And I would say Kyrese, I thought he's going to be all right. He's a kid. It's only his second football league game, but he wants to run, and he comes in and he gives you an energy and an enthusiasm. And I looked at him today and thought, okay, this could be exciting. And I'll also say Oscar he tired Oscar in the game. It's frustrating because his fitness is so good, but he's had a long season. He's done great to this point.
He's a kid.
He's young. He did so well first half, but you know what? When the team wasn't doing well, and it's very hard for the young players when the team's not doing well to do well. But he actually was the only one who came out with any credit in that first half period.
That's Danny Cowley there, the Colchester United head coach, after the 4-1 defeat at Salford City this afternoon. At BBC Essex Sport on X, if you want to get in touch, you can also email essex.sport@bbc.co.uk. We will bring you an interview with Manny Ebo before we finish at 8 o'clock. A message that's come in from Baz. He says, a big blow for the U's today and in the last few games, albeit against top teams in League 2, who are always going to be favourites for promotion following their improved performances over a couple of seasons. Possibly the early penalty setback kicked things off against us, but let's not forget how far we've come this season under Danny Cowley and Nicky. Look where we were just a handful of games into the season and have willingly taken 10th, or maybe still a little better to come next weekend. We should all be proud of what they've done this season. I, for one, will be at the end of season dinner on Thursday full of praise and thanks for some great performances. The opportunity surely comes now to build just that slightly better and probably more expensive squad to add to those lads we must retain in order to progress next season. Well done the U's, says Baz. 81333 if you want to get in touch with your thoughts. It could be a nervy end to the National League season for Braintree Town, beaten 1-0 at FC Halifax today. Dagenham Redbridge picking up a 6-0 win over Altrincham as well. So depending what happens here with Wealdstone, Braintree Town may just be looking over their shoulder going into their final game of the season. Let's hear from the Iron boss Steve Pitt on today's loss. He's been speaking to Josh.
Steve, commiserations on the result. It ended in defeat, but maybe not the result that the performance deserved, do you feel? How do you sum that 90 minutes up?
No, I think we deserved something out of the game. I mean, obviously you've watched the game. I think without a shadow of a doubt we had the more clear-cut chances, but as has been our Achilles heel too often this season since I've been in the job, we create chances and we create good chances in games, but we're just not clinical enough. If we take one of those 3/4 good chances today, we take a point out of the game and the job's almost done. Disappointed in the manner of their goal as well, because I thought we defended really, really well and didn't really cause us huge problems, to be honest with you, in open play. But yeah, bearing in mind, yet again, we've been done on the counter in terms of we were in possession of the ball, it's overturned, and then before you know it, we've conceded at the other end, which is disappointing in itself. But yeah, really disappointed that we didn't get the job done. I thought we did enough to get the job done today, but so it's fine margins again, isn't it? And we fell the wrong side of the line today, unfortunately.
In those games where you made to rude missed chances, maybe, I mean, those games happen, but it's not really happened at the most ideal part of the season, has it, with just 2 games remaining?
No, I mean, that's, you need to take one of those chances, whatever way you dress it up. We're very, very good on the counter-attack. We've got players with pace, and I thought we opened them up 3 or 4 times, whether it be the first half or the second half. I actually thought we were better in the second half, to be honest with you. I thought we were fine in the first half, but I thought we were even better in the second half, and I couldn't really see us conceding, to be honest with you. But yeah, really disappointed, and I've got a very flat set of players in there that are upset that they didn't get the job done today.
You've got 3 points, the gap now between yourselves and the bottom 4. Wealdstone play late tonight as well. I mean, how much are you keeping an eye on that game this evening? Because, I mean, really, it's still in your hands with the goal difference playing in your favour as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Southend Wealdstone tonight is massive, isn't it? As long as somebody's got the zone, we'll be watching the game on the way home. But I wanted it to be in our hands, in all honesty, and a point today would have basically sealed the deal from our point of view, but not to be. And it's another bump in the road for us, and we just have to deal with it, get on with it, and move on to preparing next week for Rochdale on Monday week. Pressing road, and I don't know how Rochdale got on today. I don't know whether they're cemented in the playoffs or not.
I think they are. I think they confirmed playoffs.
Yeah, so good luck to them. I wish them all the best in that sense. But Braintree's a tough place to come, and we will be prepared and we'll be ready, and given the circumstances since I've come in and taken the job, we are equipped to stay in this division, and I'll give it everything I possibly can to ensure that we do stay in this division.
That's Steve Pitt there, the Braintree town boss, after a 1-0 defeat against FC Halifax. More reaction on the way. 8 o'clock is the finish time for BBC Essex Sport this evening. It's 28 minutes to 7.
BBC Essex Sport.
Victoria Polly with you live at Roots Hall, where at the break Southend United's National League playoff push is on.
Scott Morris, right side of the penalty area. Can see the cross. Good lift!
Goal.
1-0 Southend United. It's a little deft header from the far post into the back of the net that's got Southend United the lead after 8 minutes. The Blues 1, Wealdstone 0.
Can they build on that in the second half? Commentary to come for you next from Warren Muggleton and Paul Clark.
Call 0800 111 40 41. Text 81333 and start your message with the word Essex. BBC Essex Sport.
Always delighted to hear from you over the phone, text, WhatsApp or email right now. Time to put your devices away because we are underway for the second half between Southend United and Wealdstone. There might be an early chance. Kendall has it in the penalty area, takes a shot from the right of it. They needed McAvoy to clear it away, and a corner kick. Southend in dark blue with the gold strip, dark shirts, dark blue shorts, white socks, right to left. Wealdstone, yellow shirts and shorts and blue socks, playing from right to left. And Kendall stayed on the ground for a moment, but he's hopped back to his feet straight away. He did have a groin injury a couple of weeks ago, so it'd be understandable if there was a little bit of frustration in that leg. I'll talk you through the teams and introduce Paul once we see how this corner kick unfolds. First one of the second half, 20 seconds in it's given. Coker with this corner from the right side. And it's for the near post, headed away by Boulderwine. That does give me a chance to introduce the teams. Hayes in goal, Taylor, Goodliff and Ralph in the back three. Hussein sits in front of them. Scott Morris on the right, Bridge on the left as the wing backs. Coker and Apaya Force in the middle. Kender and Hopper up top. For Wealdstone, Baptiste is in the middle. They've got a back three of McAvoy, Woodman and Mariappa. Grant sits in front of them. He has Sona and Boulderwine, Assise in the middle. Boulderwine and Corral are the roaming wing backs, and then Reed up top. All played in from the right side, eventually gobbled up by Baptiste. And I said all about having all eyes on the pitch there. Paul Clark had his eyes on that moment. What talks through that one?
No, just out on the right wing. Gus Scott Morris rolled it back to Noor Hussein, had opportunity to cross but turned it down, put it back out to Gus, who fired it into the box, and Blues got first touch on it, but it bobbled through harmlessly to the goalkeeper. But I'm hoping for a sort of repeat of the Ebbsfleet performance. I think first half they got themselves one up and possibly a little bit disappointed, only to be 1-0 and then run riot in the second half. Let's keep fingers crossed for a repeat performance.
Goodliff is the man who got the goals to lead. He's just headed it into the path of Apaya Forson for Southend. It's Hopper involved. Now Hussein pushes it back to Scott Morris inside home territory. All down the right for Kendall to get onto. It's Mariappa to it. They'll just create some time and some space to get Hussein back on the ball. Scott Morris. Pair exchange passes before giving it to Taylor. Of course, we saw this as the first half developed. Having wanted to take the pace of the game now, of course, the position that they're in, if it stays like this, they are in those playoff places with a game to go, but you want that second goal, and you want that cushion, that extra goal difference as well. Right now they've got one on Gateshead at the moment. They're on +9, Gateshead on +8. You just want to get some goals in against a team that's struggling, Paul.
Yeah, it's listen, number one, beat them, and then worry about everything else after that. Yes, you'd like a performance, yes, you'd like to score loads of goals, but beat them. And at the moment they're doing just enough to beat them. They've got to keep them at arm's length. And I say
Scott Morris with a long throw, and it might fall to Jack Bridge in the 6-yard box. Now Kendall, second block cleared away. Well, a long throw in from the right made its way to the edge of the 6-yard box. Jack Bridge juggling with it, tried to get it out of his feet, couldn't get the shot away. It was cleared off. Kendall in the penalty area, tried to whip it in, but again it was cleared. It might fall to Kendall again. Can't get the touch-o to bring it away from McAvoy of Wealdstone. But two massive chances in the space of seconds.
Yeah, you do wonder whether there was the opportunity for someone, probably Jack Bridge, just to go, you know what, shut your eyes, head down, toe punt it, just hit it as early as you can, get it going towards the goal, rather than trying to clear it round and make the perfect opportunity for it and give everybody a chance to get back.
How keen Jack Bridge would be to get on the scoreboard, looking for his first goal since he got the opener for Southend in that 4-3 electrifying FA Cup round 1 game against Charlton Athletic back in the beginning of November. Scott Morris and Hussein get it back on the ground for Southend. 3 minutes of this second half play, Southend leading 1-0. Bit of frustration among the fans as Southend changed a triangle of passes with Apaya Forson into Wealdstone's half on the right. Hussein spreading it to Ralph, and frustration turns into applause all of a sudden.
Kevin getting frustrated with the crowd as well, because they kept possession, as you say, and getting jeered for it, and Kevin's getting frustrated. Well, we still got the ball, and then finally it comes out this way. There are times, you've got to ping it about like that, and it's just that nobody in that period of play got their head up. It was all a case of, well, we'll just play in this tight little area, and I won't even look to go out. We'll just keep it nice and safe over here. I think that was the disappointing thing. That looked like a decent challenge from Tom Hopper to me.
Yeah, Hopper looked like he'd won it off of Cisse inside Wealdstone's half, and he might have been free to go, but instead a foul given away by the forward. So free kick for Wealdstone, which they've taken quickly, and again going backwards. We saw this in the first half. They're playing their set pieces in their own half short.
Yeah, well, we don't mind them doing it because we're winning.
Absolutely.
But that's why the crowd get frustrated, because they think, well, Wealdstone are going to have one chance at least in the game. So the crowd want Blues to go and put them to the sword, put the game to bed. Don't give them a chance to come back into it. That's why they get frustrated when they're knocking it about in their own half. And it's understandable, but sometimes that's the best option. Sometimes you've got to put 4 or 5 passes together to get out of an area.
McAvoy heading away. The goalkeeper only finds the body, as C says. It plays a bit of pinball among the Wealdstone defenders. It's possession back to Southend, and Taylor putting it over the halfway line to Hussein, but is it back to Goodliff? Has most of his own half to himself. Now Ralph and Coker hugging the left wing.
See, that's where it's disappointing, because 2 of them there received it and could have turned and faced the opposition half, but they receive it and just go safe.
Woodman's giving the ball straight to Hussein, threading it into Hopper, edge of the penalty area. Kapaya Forson making a run, so Scott Morris, it's a mess. It might still be a follow-on from Scott Morris. It's hid away. Kapaya Forson! What an amazing bicycle kick attempt as Southend piled the pressure on, up in the air. Apaya Forson, shortest man on the pitch, going for the bicycle kick, and it bounces agonisingly to the left of goal. That would have been spectacular for Apaya Forson's 4th goal of the season, but it remains 1-0.
How does it remain 1-0?
How?
I mean, I just don't know. I don't know how Gus Scott Morris hasn't scored. Keeper Baptista's done well to get a touch on that. Then it's come out to Apaya Forson, and yeah, it looks spectacular. But I'm amazed he missed the target from there, to be perfectly honest.
I thought Scott Morris had managed to find a header into the bottom right corner, but somehow they keep it out. Phrase huff and puff seems to come to mind in these opening 6 minutes of the second half. The house are not blown down yet.
Neil Gibson applauding his defenders for just getting bodies around there, and the keeper particularly. Don't quite know how they kept that out.
Yeah, Dante Baptiste had a tough 5 games recently, only 1 clean sheet and 5 goals conceded. And that was 6 goals in 6 games now with that opener from Goodliff. Coker trying to win it off Grant. Again, there'll be spotlight on Woodman in the middle of that defensive trio. He was the one who gave the ball away. Hopper has managed to stop McAvoy from getting it down, and he gets a big round of applause now for his sprint to get across.
Sorry, I was going to say, Goodman, he hasn't shone in that spotlight today, has he? He's exposed him a little bit. Great effort from Tom Hopper there. That's the sort of thing that you need just to trigger everybody up, get everybody going again.
Tom Hopper has plenty of experience, over 300 EFL, it's English Football League appearances. Give him that insight to know you chase those ones down, and a hint of hesitation, you pounce on it. Hussein, and it's a Kendall on that right wing, but the touch is heavy, and that's come from Mariappa. Had a tough battle with Charlie Kendall today of Southend, and it does mean a throw-in for Southend. It feels like a long time ago, but only about 4 or 5 minutes ago, a long throw-in from Scott Morris put the ball on the feet of Bridge in the edge of the 6-yard box. What will happen from this one? He looks to launch it on the left, decides to go short. After all that build-up, Paul, as well. Foul's been given away. Looks like Goodliff is the one protesting, because they might have had a few hands on the keeper. So free kick for Wealdstone inside their own penalty area.
Yeah, again, it baffles me. Blues have been doing this for 2-3 years, where they get someone like Gus Scott Morris, gets the ball in his hand, everybody goes 30-40 yards away like he's going to throw it long, so everybody in the opposition drops in, goes defend that, and then one player goes out and they throw it short and get it back, and it's 2v1. They fall for it every single time. It's brainless.
Oh, you can hear the roar of the Southend fans as Baptiste is in front of the Frank Walton stand, packed out with fans. The sun shadows may be getting longer as the sun gets lower in the sky, but still there's an intensity around Roots Hall. I think there's a bit of air of nervousness, bit of anticipation, but it's growing. Few hints of optimism out there now among those fans. I said barely a spare seat to be found in the house.
I think there's a hint of anxiety in there.
Do you think?
Because they're looking at it going, hang on a minute, we've had a couple of really, really good chances to put this to bed, and we know that they're going to get one chance in the game.
Maybe there'll be another one as Coker tries to get there ahead of Woodman, but doesn't quite. Hussein onto the loose ball as it comes back. Southend continuing to push. Can they find a second goal against Wealdstone? Ralph may be able to go a long way. Now he's into the penalty area. Can't go ahead of Grant. It might come off Ralph as it bounces over the left wing, which it had. He'd managed to get a long way into the penalty area with the nudge, but Grant puts himself in the way for Wealdstone, and he manages to get the touch on to get the ball off Ralph, off his shin, powering away. So throw into Wealdstone on their left wing.
He did brilliant, Nathan Ralph, there, and I'll tell you what, Grant had to get that one right, didn't he? Because he jumped and slid in from a long way away. And, managed to get his body in the way, deflected off for this throw for Wealdstone. But great play from Nathan Ralph.
All the fans around us cheering. Feels wonderful. Crystal Palace have doubled their lead over Aston Villa in the FA Cup semi-final. Ismaila Sarr scoring before the hour. They lead 2-0. And the Nottingham Forest and Manchester City meet tomorrow. That's on 5 Live. You get all those updates. Ball's gone out from Baldwin, so it'll be a throw-in for the Blues midway through Wealdstone's half. Jack Bridge standing over it. See Parallon, Walker and Bonn all warming up to his left. The calls continue to grow. Come on, Southend. And those Blues fans. Ralph back to Hussein. They'll exchange passes from the throw-in. Hussein has a Pier Forson to his right and Scott Morris out on that right wing, so he gives it to Taylor, and now it will find the right wing back of Southend. Pier Forson gives it back. 1-0 to Southend against Wealdstone if you're just joining us on BBC Essex Sport on all frequencies and the BBC Sport website. Ralph looking for Coker to chase this down, but McAvoy hooking it away from the attacking midfielder. Wealdstone tries to get Frenchmar involved, but Hussein muscles him away and has Coker in front of him. He'll get it back. Option for a 1-2 is cut off, but Hussein advancing. He slid in a little bit on Baldwin, and the referee has gone to he's going to his pocket for this one as well. A little bit heavy as he was balancing down the left wing.
Yeah, it knocked it too far out of his feet, and determination to go and get it in. But I had to giggle at the one before that with Kretschmar, because Kretschmar was just going, I'll just take this. No, you ain't having that. Just wanted it whole lot more than Kretschmar did. Much more determination, and that determination ultimately what led him to get booked.
I think Grant also picked up a yellow card for Wealdstone there as well. He was holding his hands up, and it might have been a bit of dissent towards Parkinson. So player from either side in the book. And now a foul against Wealdstone as Mariappa bundles into the back of Hopper. I'm just realising I don't think I've talked through the Wealdstone team yet. Let me run you through that as well. Baptiste in goal, McAvoy, Woodman and Mariappa in that back three. This all does sound a bit familiar actually, but just for my own sanity I'll just make sure I do this again. Grant sitting in front of them, Cisse and Sona with room to operate in the middle, Baldwin on the right, Carrell on the left, Kretschmar with room to roam behind top scorer Alex Reid. And as I say, Southend, Hayes in goal, Taylor, Goodliff, Ralph back three, Hussein in front of them, Scott Morris right, Bridge left, Coker and Pier Forson in the middle, Kendall and Hopper up top. We've definitely done it now, Paul.
You've done the Southend one?
Well, you can listen back to it on BBC Sounds if you like. Meanwhile, throw in for the Blues inside Wealdstone's half. Scott Morris with the ball in his hands. He's creeping forwards as well, still having it in his hands, and now will take a long run up. Aim for Hopper's head. Carrell gets the header. Woodman gets it to the edge of the penalty area, but Pier Forson gets ahead of Grant. Now Scott Morris with the header, Hopper, and it into the dangerous area in the penalty area, but Baldwin hammering it forwards for Wealdstone. And it comes back to the man who put the cross in, Scott Morris. Southend in possession. Pier Forson drifting away from Carrell. Advantage being played. Now Hussein, first time out of his feet into Coker, who can drive forward and gets roars of encouragement as he does so. Bridge towards the byline, puts the cross in. Hopper was at the back post, but it's over his head. Taylor though has advanced. I'll give it to a Pier Forson, who could put a cross in, puts it on the grass, and Scott Morris gets the back flick as well. He's still advancing penalty area, shooting just wide again. A Pier Forson just hasn't got his sights set at the moment. Excellent 1-2 in the penalty area, just dragged to the left of goal. It still remains 1-0. A sixth shot on goal, only a fourth one on target, and they are knocking on that door, but they cannot find a way through.
Yeah, you just hope it doesn't come back and haunt them. But I mean, great play. How many times have I said over the season, around the edge of the box, little 1-2s, and we went through a spell where we actually counted them. You know, they were so rare, but that's what it can do. I mean, they've given it away again, have they? Just left it short.
Not quite.
The ball into Gus Scott Morris, he hasn't got a clue what he's doing with it. It's just help it on round the corner and expect someone to be running. Just a little gamble ball round the corner, and Pier Forson kept his run going and did brilliantly. And yes, he missed, but he missed in the good area. Give everybody else a chance coming at that back post.
All the while, Southend have got possession back, and they are bearing down on Southend's goal again. There's space for Scott Morris, right side of the penalty area. Checks it back, puts a cross in, looks for Kendall, falling backwards though, can't get his head onto it. Will be a corner kick as McAvoy had to get a touch. But now, as the fans are out of their feet, on their feet, out of their seats, and feeling like maybe they might be able to break through the Wealdstone goal this time.
Yeah, and Kevin's apoplectic with the fourth official because he thinks Charlie Kendall had his shirt ripped off his chest as he was going for that header.
Sixth corner of the afternoon. Jack Bridge from the left, right-footed, decides to go short to Hussein. Hopper's down in the middle of the penalty area, gets a back flick to Bridge. There's a header from Goodliff. Hussein will fall to him and he'll shoot, and it needs Mariappa to put a vital boot on it, otherwise that was destined for the bottom right corner. Great composure from Hussein, on target, but Mariappa in the way. Another corner kick.
Yeah, again corner. What I was saying earlier about opposition watching, how have they not worked that corner out? It's played short and then just a little step up, back heel, puts the man in, came out to Norris in, he did brilliantly there, got it out of his feet, passed it towards goal. It looked like it was goal bound until Mariappa strode it out. Referee just having a word with Mariappa and Hopper because they've been wrestling each other in there. That's why Kevin was apoplectic in the corner beforehand, because he was certain there was a penalty in there, but to be honest, they're all pulling each other.
Corner from Coker on this right side this time. And Scott Morris just wide of goal. He'll go outside the penalty area for Bridge to chase onto this one. Corrale is the last man to touch it as it goes over the byline. So it'll be a throw-in for the Blues. Still leading 1-0 somehow. 7 shots in this second half. 5 of them on target. No way through Dante Baptiste at the moment. Partly through their own doing, putting shots wide. They've had a couple, but they've had to be blocked off the line. But Southend, you feel, are getting closer. Ralph wins it back inside Wealdstone's half. Coker into Hussein, gets it back on the floor. First time pass into Bridge, and he'll get it back. Whips it into the middle, looking for Hopper. They think there's a late tackle. All the fans around us in the director's box on Coker. But Bridge still going forward, able to cut back. He's gone down, and that is a foul against Corrale. And I think there'll be a few looking to see if the referee's going to go to his pocket, but I don't think he will for that one. Free kicks pretty much 20 yards from the byline, 5 metres away from the left wing.
Yeah, definite foul. I think the referee not deemed it as caution because they're both static, and as Jack's just shifted the ball, he's just stuck a leg out and caught Jack. But it was a definite free kick and a great opportunity. Please just miss the first defender and don't stand it up for the goalkeeper to cap. Apart from that, we're not asking a lot.
So Ollie Coker, 63 minutes on the clock. Southend 1, Wealdstone 0. Can the Blues change that here? Coker aims near post. Kendall went down. It couldn't beat the first man, but clearance only goes as far as Noor Hussein, who gets it back from Coker. And a long looping cross from left to right. Ralph had stayed up. Mariappa's cleared it. Coker with the volley. It'll fall to Kendall inside the penalty area. Shooting. What a goal from Charlie Kendall for 2-0. A barrage of chances. They've got closer and closer. But it's Charlie Kendall with his first home goal since the middle of February to send Roots Hall rapturous with noise, doubling the lead. I told it was only a matter of time, I think. Southend United 2, Wealdstone 0. Southend looking up.
It's the hardest one of the lot. Hardest chance of the lot. They've done well. First shot came back to Charlie Kendall, and he's done great because he's just picked out that inside that post, didn't try to hit it too hard, just placed it, left it about a foot outside the post with a bit of curl, came back in, gave nobody any chance at all. A really good finish from him. Top class, well done, sir.
Charlie Kendall, brilliant stuff. From our we were right behind it in our position in the penalty area. Even Adam Crowther standing in front of me, he knew where it was going. The fans knew. I think Kevin knew as well. But crucially, it found its way into the back of the net. While the scoreboard hasn't been updated yet, it is Southend 2, Wealdstone 0.
We're not waiting for VAR, don't worry.
Oh no. And that's the one, that's that crucial second goal, isn't it, as well, Paul? It just takes that little wave of anxiousness away, just get that cushion, that solidity.
Absolutely. And you watch now, when Blues get it at the back now and knock 6, 7, 10 passes together and keep it in their own half, they won't get jeered now. Because now, yeah, you can see it's managing the game, as they call it.
And yet Wealdstone going backwards. Can't find a way through. Wealdstone aside now, minus 21, sitting in 50th, one place behind it in the relegation zone. Just not playing like a team that wants to stay in the league at the moment. Good lift, guys, his header on to Nick Hayes, who falls over the ball.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, it's harsh to say they look like they deserve it, but they just don't look like a side that's fighting for their lives.
Coker running the ball from left to right majestically for Taylor to get onto it. Scott Morris He'll nudge it forward. Hopper is not offside as he chases this down the right wing. Up to the byline. There's a little slip under pressure from Woodman. He's into the corner. And it's just gone out in front of the Frank Walton stand. And there'll be a throw in for Wealdstone. Mariappa will take this one. 66 minutes played.
To their credit, Blues as well. They did keep plugging away, didn't they? And would have been easy to get frustrated. To be fair, it was made a lot easier for them, and that Wealdstone never got out their own half. They never put Blues under any pressure. And it's again a stupid free kick that they've given away there, and allowed Blues again to bombard their penalty area.
Yeah, they will send some bodies forward, I imagine, for this one. Coker straight over it. This is hugging the right wing for Southend, midway through Wealdstone's half. Scoreboard has been updated, good news. There's definitely 2-0. So Coker with only Taylor and Appiah Forson haven't gone into the dangerous area. Coker will look for Ralph's head, but Baptiste has climbed to claim it. Not many options to aim at. He's come out and about 4 or 5 players still behind him as he's made his way out.
Yeah. When you say not many options, what you mean is none.
None. Thought I'd give myself a sort of field of speculation. Field of speculation.
He's done well. He's come and took the cross, run to the edge of his box, looked up, nothing.
Taylor can't quite get the ball as it's played long down the left wing, aimed at Reed. He's lost his balance a little bit. So it's a throw-in for Wealdstone. Inside Southend's final third. It's been rare to see them here with possession of the ball, and even rarer for them to show that quality as it bubbles over the byline. Be a goal kick for Nick Hayes. To approach 67 minutes played. It's Southend United 2, Wealdstone 0. Southend currently sitting in 7th in the National League table. 67 points plus 10 goal difference. 1 ahead of Gateshead and 2 goals ahead of them. I was looking at the North Stand, which is absolutely packed out behind Nick Hayes.
Well, goal difference now is irrelevant, isn't it?
In that scenario, yeah.
It's not going to come into it at all.
There'll be a substitution for Wealdstone coming shortly. But they'll play it back to the goalkeeper. Coker wants to bear down on Baptiste, but the goalkeeper gets it out of his feet. Only find the head of Scott Morris of Southend into Appiah Forson. It'll come off of Sona. Will be a throw-in to the home side. Now, looks like it might wait a little bit longer for the first change of the game. It will be Dom Hutchison to come into the game. Scott Morris lines this one up. Short to Appiah Forson. Wanted to create space for the cross, but Sona takes it off his boot again. 2 changes now. One of them will be Hutchison, the other one will be Micah Obiero. That looks like 1 forward and 1 winger. Into Kendall. Can't quite keep the ball in, so it will go out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to give them credit of chucking a couple of forwards on, but it would not have helped if they could get in Southend's half now and again, wouldn't it?
Again, they're in no rush to make these changes at the moment. They're happy to play it around them.
They're in no rush to get in Southend's half either.
No. Seems like they quite happily play inside their own half. Again, launching it towards the wing. Cisse makes a slip on the halfway line, and Hussein is able to give it to Coker to advance for Southend. Ralph on his left, coming forward, plenty of space for the Blues captain. Bridge to his left, hogging the wing. That's inside to Coker, lets it run across his body. We go from left to right. Appiah Forson back to Hussein. Southend in possession in their own half. It's Taylor. Scott Morris to his right. Appiah Forson desperately trying to create some space for himself. Scott Morris tries to put it down the right wing, but that's back towards him. Instead we go right to left. Goodliff all the way to Hayes, and Southend just powering in possession at the moment. Coker, this time he'll ask Hopper to chase, which he will. Bridge went down under pressure from McAvoy, but it actually distracted them, and Hopper is able to put a cross in. Looks for Kendall, but Mariappa able to clear it away. Owen still can't get out of their final third though. Hussein into Bridge, could try and sneak it into Hopper. Instead Bridge having to tussle with McAvoy. Puts it back to Hussein. Coker Had Cisse right behind him, so goes all the way back to Goodliff. Hayes is an option for the Colchester United loanee.
2 subs are going to need another warm-up again in a minute.
They will. Hutchinson trying his best. Obiero just waiting.
Great run.
Ball is played over the top. Kendall with an excellent first touch. Second one drags it left. Can he get it in? No, he took it too wide. And might just stay in though. Scott Morris thinks it will, but it'll be a goal kick. Excellent ball played over the top. Kendall, I don't think the first touch was brilliant. Should have really shot with the second. Decided to drag it out wide.
Yeah, it was a great run. Great run. And as you say, his first touch, he's got in behind and he's opened his body and he's almost got the identical shape to his first goal. Obviously he's running away from it a little bit, going to have to run around it a little bit, but for some reason decided to turn away and try to drag it back again. Took it onto his left foot and just made it a real tight angle for himself. But great run from him again.
So the first substitutions are for Wealdstone, and they will see Harrison Sona come off in place of Dom Hutchison and Mustafa Correal in place of Micah Obiero. And then the substitutions will come for Southend. First one brings an end to Charlie Kendall's game, and as you would expect, fans all around us up on their feet to applaud the scorer of the second goal.
He deserves huge applause for the quality of that second goal, for that finish, but more importantly and more consistently deserves huge applause for the amount of work he put in, and not just the amount of work he put in, but the quality and the timing of his runs, the putting people under pressure, giving people off the ball options and putting defenders under pressure all the time. I thought he's been terrific, the kid.
The other substitutions, he's Tom Hopper and off for Macaulay Bond, so like for like changes for Southend. Bond and Walker will be keen to add to their tally, having got the third and fourth goals respectively against Ebbsfleet on Easter Monday. That's then 18 minutes of normal time to play. Southend United 2, Wealdstone 0. This last home game of the league season for the Blues. That's Cisse for Wealdstone. Into the substitute Hutchinson, who's taken up position on the right wing, but has to go backwards.
So I've got to say again, just mind your work. Don't just give them a cheap way back into the game and then give yourself a frantic final 15 minutes or so. Just keep doing what you've been doing. Go and play in the opposition half as much as you can.
Well, Walker tried to take it under control, but giving it to Kretschmar of Wealdstone. Brings in Hutchison. That's it inside from that right wing, trying to advance, but Coker takes it off him. Falls to Grant of Wealdstone. Kretschmar on the right, trying to put a cross in. It's a dangerous one as well, but only finds the head of Scott Morris, who heads away. Edge of the penalty area. Walker will get onto it before it goes out on the left. And it comes off McAvoy as well. So it'll be a throw-in for the Blues. Sustaining that. First real bit of pressure we've seen from Wealdstone from wide crosses.
Yeah, decent ball from Kretschmar. He fired it in. Unfortunately, nobody in there. The lad was at the back post, but went in so flat, he never had a chance to go and attack it. It was just almost straight onto Gus Scott Morris's head.
Corley Bonnet able to win that header off McAvoy. So full circle. Another throw-in for Nathan Ralph. He's having a word with the assistant referee. It's about where his position is. Although he decides to take a long run up anyway.
Ignored it.
And it's ignored. That's standard.
That's not a bad ball, son.
Crosses loop forward looking for Reed, but Goodliff will get there ahead of him. Little step over to give himself some time. Back to Hayes. Obiero wanted to put some pressure, but Hayes had already launched a missile towards the head of Macaulay Bonn. Does get there ahead of Mariappa, and Woodman putting it high. Scott Morris helps to bring it to ground, and Appiah Forson wins it off of Kretschmar, and now Walker bearing down the right. It's 5-4 at the moment. Walker inside to Appiah Forson, but there's an interception from Mariappa making up for the mistake, and Wealdstone able to clear. Only as far as Obiero, but Husin and Ralph able to take it off him. Taylor now on the ball. Blues bearing down again. Walker taking up position on the right, taking on Mariappa. Taylor making an overlapping run and gets onto that ball. Bit of space, putting a cross in. It goes beyond Bridge. He'll have to chase this one back. We'll get there ahead of Grant. They're able to turn towards the byline. Has Coker, edge of the penalty area, driving in, puts it across the grass, but straight cleared away by McAvoy. But only as far as Husin. Right now, barometer reading of Southend's pressure so high at the moment. They are piling it on. Appiah Forson looking for Bond, but the cross lack quality straight to the gloves of Baptiste.
And it's disappointing, obviously, that the quality of the ball when it comes with Nathan Ralph just went to nice and just drops it into Noor Husin. But again, what we said about playing the opposition half and just keep them that distance away from your goal. Don't give them an easy break or the opportunity to get a dead ball or anything where they might scrap or nick a scrappy goal and then you're fighting for the last 10 minutes. Just keep playing in their half where you've been comfortable all game.
Southend through Bridge. He can't find Coker. It's taken away from him by Hutchinson. He doesn't look comfy, just holding his at the top of his right leg. So there's a little wince in there. What we want to see from the substitute. Coker can't quite get it back to Bridge, but Ralph ensures that Southend stay in possession. Bond wants to turn. He's able to take it off McAvoy. Finding Walker inside the penalty area. Twisting, turning. Great room for the shot. He can, but lacks the power. And straight at Baptiste. Still 2-0 to Southend, but they're asking questions again.
Yeah, shame about the quality of the shot, but I'm still not quite sure how we got out of that little pocket of players. Great skill from him. He's back to goal. 3 players around him and a couple of little shimmies, and suddenly he's getting a shot at goal, albeit a bit weak.
Grant trying to get Wealdstone advancing. Cisse. There's room to turn as well. Puts it out right to Hutchinson. And it's the pace of Wealdstone is not quite there going forwards. Maybe Hutchinson will try and change that here. Looking to thread it into Kretschmar, but Ralph intercepting. And ball was slow. Easy to read for him. Bridge getting away from Hutchinson. Trying to keep it in. She's managed to do. And McAvoy clearing it away. It was fizzing towards the director's box. And was caught by someone in the stands. Darren Curry just making sure they're all right as well. Hopefully no photos taken of that moment.
Darren Curry saying he should have edited it back.
13 minutes of normal time in the second half. Southend leading Wealdstone 2-0. Lovely touch. Bond shooting edge of the penalty area. Straight at the keeper again. Bridge bit pass into Walker, edge of the penalty area. On a plate for Bond to shoot first time. Although it's short into Grant, has to give it back to Baptiste. And it's messy from the goalkeeper, who gives it to McAvoy. Walker trying to put some pressure on, but McAvoy able to send it onto the head of Southend's Goodliff.
Listen, I know I'm easily pleased, but I loved seeing that from the 2 centre forwards. It's a little ball into Macaulay Bond, and he steps over it, spins round into the feet of Walker, who then just sets it back. Macaulay Bond continues his run, and then it just needed to start it wider. Just started it a bit close to the keeper and into his hands. But great interplay between the 2 strikers. Brilliant.
Easily pleased.
Yeah, possibly not.
Excellent move.
Hard taskmaster then.
Indeed. Paul Clark holding them to account. That's what you've got to do though, isn't it? You've got to set the standards, haven't you? I mean, that's what Kevin Mayer was saying before in the pre-match press conference. They want to continue the standards that they've set in training coming into the game, and I feel like they've been doing that.
I bet they do that all the time in training. You know, when you're playing attack v defence and your 2 forwards or your 2 strikers link up like that, and they take people short and then step overs and little dummies, spin rounds, and the 1-2 that we had early on with a Pye Fulson and Gus Scott Morris. Great to see.
Well, there's a loop looking for Hutchinson. He's got a bit of room to roam for Wealdstone. Taylor's clearance means it's a throw-in for the visitors.
Thing is, when you get sides that are going to sit back against you, that's the sort of thing you've got to do. That's what you've got to do to break them open.
Another sloppy pass from Wealdstone. Sees Coker intercepts, and now Bond is going to take on Woodman. Can't quite get round him, but I think it was Woodman that had the last touch. It certainly was, and it is a throw-in.
He's either done hamstring or his calf, Woodman now.
Yeah, he's not jogging on it comfortably. It's been an uncomfortable day, to say the least, for the centre-back for Wealdstone. Yeah, he's on the ground now, as he was chasing that one from Bond as it went down the right wing. Looks like he just held up a bit. We saw John Akinde do it in the Braintree game on Good Friday.
Yeah, he looked like he'd been shot, didn't he, John?
he did.
A sniper had got him.
The physios come on for Wealdstone now. Into the last 10 minutes here on BBC Essex Sports. Southend United 2, Wealdstone 0. Southend United looking to see this out and secure first home win against Wealdstone. Nearly 2 years, been unbeaten against them, about 3.
But you don't like to see anybody pick up an injury like that, but it kind of rounds off what's been a fairly torrid afternoon for the kid, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. They do have another centre-back on the bench in Toby Amole. His last appearance came back in the middle of April. They got an impressive 1-1 draw Meanwhile, Southend United making a substitution. Ollie Coker's afternoon comes to an end. We Cav Miley to come on. Ollie Coker, productive?
Yeah, to me it suits him when he plays in that little left side pocket, almost number 10, sitting on that left side though, not wandering about across the whole pitch, just getting in there where he can turn and start. And there were signs there that he started to do the things that they used to do with Wes Fongut when he was here with Jack Bridge, where Jack Bridge would come short and the midfield player, in that case Fongut, would run beyond. There were signs of Ollie Coker starting to do that a little bit today as well, and starting to get that understanding.
So Cav Miley comes in as Southend gets started with a throw-in on the right wing. Scott Morris to take it, getting it back from Appiah Forson. Morris threatening that byline. It's across and takes a little touch, but linesman says as the looping cross to the last touch off of Max Kretschmar before it got the gloves of Baptiste, it had gone over the byline before it reached the goalkeeper, so a corner kick for Southend from the right.
Again, it's just that opportunity to try and get a cross in when you're under pressure. You can't get the cross, but you get second prize.
In Wealdstone are about to line up that substitution. I was expecting Amole was expected to come on for Woodman. Meanwhile, Bridge with his corner. Hussein with a header, needed a save at the bottom right corner. That was threatening Macaulay Vaughan. Beg your pardon. It was a fast movement. It just such a blur. But
no, you were surprised he got header on target.
Oh. He'd come away from the 6-yard box on the right side, guiding the header towards the bottom right corner and pushed away. Really good.
Good movement, sharp header. Tested the goalkeeper, who did well.
Bridge would take two from this right side. Good lift climbing off the crossbar. Ralph keeps it alive. It's headed away. Scott Morris nudging it forward. But it's still headed back, and a foul conceded on Woodman, who stayed down. So it will be a free kick for Wealdstone to get us started. Good lift. I think that crossbar still rattling.
Brilliant header. Just attacked it. Got so high for it as well, and really unfortunate to see that come back off the crossbar. Now he's looking across at his family going, what have I got to do to score? Get it under the bar next time.
So third substitution for Wealdstone. Dion Woodman comes off. Toby Amole makes his way on. That should be a like-for-like change. Meanwhile, restart with the free kick from Baptiste inside his own penalty area. Comes off Goodliff's head last, so it'll be a throw-in for Wealdstone on their right wing. 7 minutes of time left. Southend United 2, Wealdstone 0 at Roots Hall. McAvoy with this throw-in. Feel hints of the sunshine from the afternoon. Still getting a bit lower. No shadows getting longer, but fans still relishing in what they're seeing on the pitch. Appiah Forson looking to get it into Bridge, but Hutchinson intercepting. Can't find a way forwards though. Has to go laterally to Amole. His first touch is to take the ball over the halfway line, or aiming towards the centre for Reed. Also Goodliff, who bumps that one back down the field. Will go all the way to the gloves of Baptiste. Decides to juggle with the ball on the edge of the penalty area before giving it to Mariappa.
At least he looks like he's got a little bit about him, Hutchinson. He's got a little bit of threat. Picked it up a couple of times and run at people. So he was a positive change for Wealdstone, if nothing else.
Finished Crystal Palace 3, Aston Villa 0 in the FA Cup semi-finalist. May Lassar adding a second to his tally in stoppage time at Wembley. So they go through to the FA Cup final. Orders a cross, put across from the right side from Obiero. He picked it up on his chest in the penalty area and whipped it in with the volley, but it came off the header of Goodliff. Obiero still keeping it alive, but stumbles over the ball, and Walker able to come away with it for Southend. Chance of a counter, and there's a late tackle on Walker. And that one coming from Hutchinson, left frustrated, and he receives a yellow card for his troubles.
Well, they think there was a foul about 30 seconds earlier on Hutchinson, I think it was, or Obiero, right in that corner when they first picked up possession. So they're a little disgruntled that it's gone against them.
Manager Neil Gibson making his feelings known to the assistant manager. 6th different manager for the Stones in the last 14 months. Quite a tumultuous time for them.
Consistency, isn't it?
It is.
That'll do it. A bit of stability.
At one time they had the longest serving manager in the top 6 leagues in England, in the form of Gordon Bartlett. Now the academy manager 9,607 in attendance today.
I wonder if they even bothered showing the initials on the tracksuits for them.
9,677 for that one. That beats the Braintree game by 63. 364 Wealdstone supporters. But 9,667, biggest of the season, Paul. They've made themselves known today.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, there was a couple of nervy spells from them, but obviously made it comfortable for them early on with Blues getting the early goal. And then they got a little anxious at the start of the second half, but once Blues got the second goal now, and you could sense as well there was a time where Blues were struggling a little bit, particularly in that first half. You could feel the crowd trying to get them going, just pick the pace up, the tempo up again. So they played their part as well.
Certainly so. There's some 4 minutes to go. 2-0 to Southend. Find themselves inside the playoff places. Long ball from the keeper, Baptiste. Obiero taking it into the corner. Taylor Shawsey has to go backwards to Baldwin. Had Grant inside him. Winger gets it back. Dutchman. Can't go forwards, again has to go back to Grant. Kretschmar gives it back to the Wealdstone midfielder, trying to find a way into Southend's final third. They've just enjoyed having some possession at the moment. Cisse tries to turn, but Ralph with a big tackle to get it away, and Walker could beat McAvoy there. He does, and McAvoy has gone through the back of him. Foul given away inside Southend's half, and again referee Stephen Parkinson going to his pocket against McAvoy.
Yeah, it's probably just deems it to be a tackle from behind, although they're both running for it, and he's trying to stick a toe out and slide in, put his foot through Walker's legs to try and tie it away from him. Unfortunately caught Walker, just hoping he's not turned an ankle or something. As Parallon looks like he's about to make an appearance.
Yeah, Jack Bridge will be the player who makes way. Leon Parallon had a great cameo against Ebbsfleet last week, came on, grabbed the assist for the fourth goal, which Joshua Walker put away. Quite the driving run from the left wing. Ben Goodliff has a little drink of energy drink. And the substitution will be made now. Jack Bridge is only about 10 feet away from Kevin Mayer, so a short one, but he's a well-known, well-loved player at Southend, and he gets that big round of applause. And Leon Parallon coming on in his place.
I thought in the first half, especially those opening minutes when Blues was on top and trying to I thought Jack set a tone where he started delivering the ball quickly, just shifted out his feet. First chance he got, stood it in. Hopper on a couple of occasions got there because he could make the run, knew the ball was going to come in. And as I say, started developing a little bit more of an understanding. He's got a good understanding with Nathan Ralph anyway, but then if who's just gone down, by the way, looks like he's struggling.
That's Nathan Ralph.
Yeah. And nice little understanding with Nathan Ralph, and starting to develop with Ollie Coker there as well.
So Joe Gubbins has just been called from his warm-up by Kevin Mayer and stripped off and getting ready to come on. Joe Gubbins' last start for him came against in the 1-0 win against Oldham, the last 5:30 kickoff here at Roots Hall at the end of March.
Looks like I might have strained a thigh muscle or something.
Yeah, looks like it. Well, he might be partly in his mind about
just
eating away at some of the seconds, but 5 minutes will be the additional time, I suspect.
No, that will be nothing to do with killing time. He'll be struggling if they got any sense.
Yeah, he's up on his feet though. Yeah. Nathan Ralph up on his feet.
Get him off.
Giving the captain's armband to Taylor.
That's it.
And now Ralph makes his way off.
Totally sensible option. Don't risk it. Why make what could be a minor little pull or just a little bit of cramp? Why risk it and make it worse when I think you might have a big game coming up?
So Joe Gubbins comes on in place of Nathan Ralph, and we will have 5 minutes of additional time. Well, I forget Victoria, wait to hear from you. We're on air until 8 o'clock this evening. 81333 on text, 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Start those messages with the word Essex. Get your thoughts in. It's Goodliff. Hooks it away. Once again, the acrobatic from Ben Goodliff. He does love it.
Yeah, listen, There's nothing fancy about Ben Good. He could have took that on his chest and rolled it back to the goalkeeper. But you know what the simple thing to do is, and the safe thing to do is, hook it over your shoulder for a throw-in. Yeah, I ain't got a problem with that. Not when you're winning 2-0 and you need to win. Only 5 minutes left. Yeah, just hook it out of place, and that'll do me.
Keenan Appiah-Forson's been voted man of the match today. I just sense you could sense a bit of a summary of Wilson's afternoon. Reid tried to head it into the path of Kretschmar, running into the penalty area on the left side, but too much on it and straight into the path of Hayes. Both players looking up to the skies. They've only had 2 shots on goal, both of them on target, coming in the first half. They just haven't threatened, haven't looked like they've wanted to threaten Southend today. There's a turn from Bon in the right corner. Tries to get it back to Appiah-Forson. Throw in for Wealdstone.
Let's be fair, they've been hopeless.
Yeah.
Been very, very, very little threat, and that's to Southend's credit, because as we said, they have got a threat if you let them play. Blues just haven't let them play.
They haven't. 19 shots on goal for the Blues. 11 of them on target.
I'd love to see the heat maps, because I would imagine 70-80% of the game has been played in Wealdstone half.
Yeah. Miley gets his head onto the ball, but can't stop it falling to Wilson's Hutchinson. Now into the right corner, putting a cross in. That's finding Reid, but it's headed away. Miley into the path of Gubbins. Looking for Walker, but finds Bond's chest for Southend as they look to counter. Get Walker moving, but Cisse and Grant bring it to ground for Wilson inside the centre circle, and Amoli will look to stride over the halfway line.
I was going to say, I'm glad Hutchinson didn't start out, because he's the one Wilson player that looks like he's had some kind of threat.
Kretschmar with room to turn, brings in Boulderwine. Amoli looking up and doesn't seem like he has options. Only the one to his right in Mariappa.
See, this ain't pretty from Blues, but this is sensible. They've dropped back and gone, right, we'll just keep our shape back here. We'll let you have it. We'll break out when we can.
Houston's giving it away to Hutchinson. He wants to get down this right wing again. Only Reid really to aim at in the middle. Obiero has joined him as well. Takes the touch, gets the turn, goes for a Karasi kick volley, but it loops over. It took a deflection anyway, so it'll be a corner kick for Wealdstone.
Yeah, it's your man Appiah-Forson managed to get himself in the way, and as you say, the little forward bicycle kick, got a decent volley on it, but spun off of Forson for this corner. Right, mind your work now. Just pick everybody up, especially on second ball. We don't want a nervy few minutes, thank you.
To less than 2 minutes of the additional 5 to come. Southend leading Wealdstone 2-0. It'll be Kretschmar with this corner kick in front of those home fans in the north stand. In front of that sign that says "Together we are Southend United." Kretschmar aiming for the far post. It's a climb from Mariappa, but can't find the bottom right corner, and Hayes able to get there first. The man with 168 Premier League appearances for the likes of Crystal Palace and Reading and Watford, unable to threaten on that occasion. Still 2-0, and Hayes making as much time as he can. Keep the ball in his grasp.
How many times he touched it this half?
I could probably count them on one hand. But more so in the latter stage of the second half, I would say. McAvoy into Cisse, only finds Parallon, brings in Hussein with his head. Maybe there's one more here for Southend. Walker bundles over McAvoy, so gives the free kick away. Less than a minute left.
But I think, again, you don't mind that. He's showing willing, showing the work rate right at the death, keeping Wealdstone honest and keeping them in their own half.
Good lift into Appiah-Forson, who might find Walker. He's brought down. Referee says nothing, giving Hussein into Macaulay Bonne. Can he keep it moving? Baptista's messed it up, and it's into the net. It is a third goal. There was something else, and it's Macaulay Bonne in the latest litany of woes for Wealdstone. It's Baptiste who lets the ball ghost through him, and the nearest man is Macaulay Bonne. He scores in consecutive games with Roots Hall rocking. They are in the playoffs with a game to go. Southend United 3, Wealdstone 0 with 10 seconds left.
Well, I think, listen, he's done well, Macaulay Bonne, there, because he's got to put the goalkeeper under pressure. I'd love to see it again, because I'm sure they both bottled it and both turned away, and then Macaulay Bonne's turned around and gone, oh, actually it's still there. And he definitely wanted it more than the goalkeeper did. The goalkeeper's got to come out and just clatter through everything, because he knows he's going to get protected by the referee. So Macaulay's done really well to go and put him under the pressure, but I honestly don't think he thought he was going to win it. He probably thought he was going to get clattered by the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper just bottled it completely, took his eyes off it, turned away from it, swung at him, missed everything, And Macaulay Bond turns around, oh, thank you very much.
We have to mention, so of course, Noor Hussein composed just to loop that over. At the time, maybe looked like it was a little bit too much, but because of the error, Bond able to get onto the end of it. And that's it. Hands go up, cheers go up. Roots Hall stands to applaud their Southend United team that are in the playoff places with a game to go. They are 1 point ahead of Gateshead, 3 goals in goal difference, one of them coming before the break, 8 minutes in with Ben Goodliff's header. It took them 15 minutes into the second half for Charlie Kendall to place into the bottom right corner. But then a comedy of errors at the back saw Macaulay Bond steal in for his 5th goal of the season, and it puts the rubber stamp on their last home game of the league season. At full time, Southend 3, Wealdstone 0, and well, with 20 shots on goal, 12 on target, well, no less than they deserve today, Paul.
What are they, 1 point above?
1 point above Gateshead.
So it doesn't matter about the goals. There's no result that's going to bring those into the equation. It's just go there and win. And please don't go there and think, well, we can win, but as long as we don't lose, everything is right. You've got to go with the attitude that you want to go and win it, because you've done so well to get yourself into this position. Yes, you could say that the quality of the opposition, particularly over the last 2 games, but they've slipped up against poor opposition in the past. It's the big boys, the better sides that they've had a lot of the success against, so that would have been easy to slip up, but they've done really well, as I say, to keep this going right to the end. And the big thing is, it's in your own hands. It's down to you, and you can't ask for more than that.
I mean, it's just the best way to finish the home campaign. This had risk of being Southend's worst home campaign since they fell down into the National League. They have 34 points from 22 games coming into this. They've taken that up to 36 now. Just a great way to finish things off and take that momentum as well going into it. And I look at Nick Hayes as well, and I think that's his 3 consecutive clean sheets for the first time since mid-September for him as well.
Hey, I'm not giving him credit for a clean sheet there today. Barely had I'll give everybody.
So you're saying the attendance figure today was 9,668, not 67?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, I'm being a little facetious, but they just never gave him a chance.
No.
I'm staggered how little time Wealdstone managed to spend in Southend's half, and that's to the credit of Southend, because yes, Wealdstone looked and are a poor side and played badly, but I've seen sides get beaten by poor sides before, but Southend just never gave them a chance. Yeah, people got a little bit frustrated when it was 1-0 and it went a little bit flat, myself included, but once they picked it up in the second half was a no contest. It was just, once they got the second goal, how many can you go on and score? I mean, it was staggering. It took them as long and as many chances as it did to get that second goal.
It's absolutely. I mean, so we're not talking about the back, but at the front, I think you mentioned him a couple of times. We've got a Charlie Kendall today.
Brilliant. Absolutely
super. Deserved that goal. Inch perfect into the bottom right corner.
I thought he was terrific. It's, as I say, it's not just the timing of his runs, the quality of runs. He was running the line well. He was putting people under pressure. He held it up, and then when he got into goal-scoring positions, I think he had 2 today. One's hit the back of the net, and the other one, all right, you might question whether he might have hit it first time, but again, he's got the shot away. But as I say, he kept giving people on the ball options to put it in behind, or even if they put a hopeful ball in, he was going in there to make the best of it that he could. So I thought he was terrific today, and a real quality finish from him.
Certainly.
Tom Hopper worked hard with him as well. I know Tom didn't get the goals and whatever. He got on a couple of decent crosses, because, as I said earlier, Jack Bridge get it out his feet and he's going to cross it. Well, I guarantee if Tom Hopper knows he's going to do that, he will make that run every time to get across, like he did right early on, and just couldn't get it on target at the near post. But if he knows Jack's going to put, then he'll get across the defender for you. But again, he worked extremely hard as well.
The players are getting a standing ovation as they're making their way off the pitch. It's amazing to think that at the Good Friday game against Braintree, there were fans booing around here as well. I think we knew that there were things in the Braintree game, too much lateral play, too much backward play, a lot of what Wealdstone did today, really. But since the Essex game today, they've taken that direction, they've put players into the box to get on the end of those corners. Yes, Wealdstone didn't put a lot of pressure on it, but at the end of the day, they can do that, but you have to do your own things right, and it's a great momentum to take forward.
Yeah, it's been a funny one, because like I said, you look at the league, and that Braintree game and the Solihull game, and you're thinking that's not good enough to keep you in touch with the teams at the top. But the teams at the top never got away. The amount of results that have gone for Blues or in Blues' favour has been staggering, and normally you get one team that's going to come and make a run at it, and for a while it looked like Tamworth might be that side up until last week, I think, and then it sort of, that's just petered away. And it's not as if Southend have got, you know, win after win and are crawling everybody back. It's almost like they've come back to Southend. I mean, how can you close people up with 5 points in 4 games? How can you make progress on? But they have done, and you know, it's not their fault that they got Ebbsfleet and Wealdstone as their, you know, final 2 games before the Gateshead game. You still got to go and beat them, and they've done it soundly. And they've gone, well, okay, you don't want to go and beat people, Gateshead, we will. And by the way, now we're not only on your shoulder, now you've got to catch us. As I say, that's a great position. It's all you can ever ask for when you go into the last game of the season. Is it in your own hands?
And it certainly is. Paul Clark, thank you very much for all of you that's during the home games this season. Well, the sun may be getting lower in this April sky on this evening kickoff, but a few numbers to show you what Southend have done on their home games. 37 points taken at home, 10 wins, 7 draws, 33 goals scored, only 24 conceded. Key points though, they're in 7th. They've got 67 points and they're 3 goals ahead of Gateshead, who they travel to on Bank Holiday Monday. What a day that's going to be. It's all over here at Roots Hall, full time at the home of the Blues. Southend United 3, Wealdstone 0.
Discover more about Essex on BBC Sounds. From local history.
And in that suitcase was these very rare and very top secret D-Day pre-invasion documents, maps. It's absolutely amazing.
And Essex news.
I've had people try and drive their cars at me. I've had people grab me by my collar. All sorts, really.
And all you need is a free BBC account and the free BBC Sounds app. To sign up, type in your email address, choose a password, and don't forget to enter your Essex postcode. Discover more about Essex on BBC Sounds.
BBC Essex Sport.
Victoria Polly with you on BBC Essex Sport. The Southend United players about to do a lap of honour for their final home match of the season. We're seeing the mini Southend United squad also come onto the pitch, including Baby Bridge, who must only be a couple of weeks old, being carried around at the moment. Lots of Southend United fans have stayed to applaud the team, who now sit in the National League top 7 going into the final match of the season. Minnie Taylor's made a break for it as well on the pitch. All entertaining here, but it's a big game set up for the final one of the season at Gateshead for Southend United. But Paul Clark, they have put themselves in the best position they possibly can from today to set up that final game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, as I say, they've done so well just to haul those teams back, and as I say, it's not their fault that the other teams have fallen away. All they could do is just keep going and keep going in an effort to extend their season, because you know that's what it's about. It sounds churlish to say at the moment, but this is great, and it's last game of the season. You want to enjoy it with your family and get the kids on and whatever. But tomorrow morning you've got to wake up and go, but we haven't achieved anything yet. Now we've got to go to Gateshead and we've got to beat them, and even when we beat them we still haven't achieved anything yet. Now we've got to get out of this league, and that gives us a chance to do it. So they've done really terrifically well to get